I was standing at the base of a jagged peak, trapped within a swirling vortex of ancient runes and obsidian energy. A haunting whisper echoed through the void. Li Yuntian. I shuddered. Is this death? No, wait. These memories. They aren't mine. Back in reality, a voice screamed my name. Suddenly, a piece of chalk came flying at my face like a heat-seeking missile. I snatched the chalk midair. It hit me then. The year is 1033. 15 years since I died on that frozen mountain. I sat in the back of the classroom, twirling the chalk between my fingers. Looking out the window, I saw a massive statue of myself. Professor Lan Yunsheng, the fiercest instructor at Blue Flame Academy, slammed her fist on the podium. Li Yuntian, how dare you sleep through my lecture, she screamed. I just blinked, trying to make sense of this new world. So, I've actually been reborn. She barked a question. How much time is required to forge a standard mystic weapon? I ignored the question and studied her instead. She's got that fiery spark. Sharp features, long hair, definitely a looker. If she traded that robe for a suit of armor and looked a bit more tragic, she'd be a dead ringer for the Crimson Lotus Empress. Too bad she's just a 4-quadrant martial lord. She's miles away from being a real threat. She froze, looking unsettled. What is this? Why did a single look from this nobody make my heart skip a beat? I must be losing my mind from overworking, she thought. Answer me now. How long does it take to forge a basic weapon? I scratched my arm. Seriously? She's testing me with this child's play? I'm the greatest alchemist this world has ever seen. You want to know the time for a standard blade? I asked casually. 12 minutes. Not a second more. Her eyes went wide. The entire room exploded into laughter. Is he high? Even the textbooks don't say that. Li Yuntian must be dreaming again, someone shouted. Has his brain finally short-circuited? He's a total joke. A rich kid in the front row stood up, waving his book around. Hey, you pathetic loser! Have you even opened this thing? Master Yang Di's manual clearly states it takes 36 minutes, he yelled. I just looked at him, completely unimpressed. Yang Di? I scoffed. That brat? I'm the one who taught him the 12-minute technique. Did he seriously forget? The teacher looked like she'd seen a ghost. What did you just say? The class kept howling with laughter. This guy is insane! Yang Di was the star pupil of the legendary Gu Fei Yang. You think you're better than him? Lan Yunsheng kicked a desk, the sound like a gunshot. Everyone shut your mouths right now! The room went dead silent. She took a breath. The legendary Gu Fei Yang wasn't just the third strongest man alive. He was a peak Grandmaster alchemist. And he did, in fact, develop a 12-minute forging method. How could this kid possibly know that? She wondered. The students began whispering in total confusion. The manual doesn't mention it, she continued, because ordinary people simply aren't capable of pulling it off. Everyone turned to stare at me. They were all thinking the same thing. How did the class failure know a secret like that? Is he really a loser? The teacher wondered. If he has a gift for alchemy, he's worth more than any soldier. Knowing trivia doesn't make you a master, she snapped. Tell me this. Why must we add heavenly star sand to the mix? If you can answer that correctly, you never have to step foot in my classroom again. The room buzzed with tension. Star sand? Who the hell knows that? It's like asking why 1 + 1 = 2. It's impossible, they whispered. I didn't even have to think about it. You don't actually need it, I said. Only amateur alchemists use it because they can't balance the raw materials properly. She marched toward my desk, her face pale. Impressive. But why does the process fail even with the sand? Because star sand is water-attuned, I replied. You can't use it when you're forging a fire-based weapon. Basic logic. Her jaw dropped. So that's why. She was desperate now. One more question then. When fusing copper and gold, how do you stop the star sand from ruining the integrity of the blade? Treat the sand like a contaminant, I said. Refine it out completely. It's not that complicated. She stood there, stunned into silence. So that's why my experiments always fail. It was so simple all along. She looked at me, and for the first time, she saw someone she couldn't explain. She turned and sprinted out of the room. Class is over, Li Yuntian. Make sure you're here for the next session, she yelled over her shoulder. The class was in shock. Did the professor just run off to take notes from him? I stood up and stretched. Well, she said I don't have to come back, I muttered, heading for the door. Everyone watched me in dead silence. My friend Han caught up to me. Since when did you become a genius? I just kept walking as the rumors started to fly. Mastery of the craft demands a spark that mere brawn lacks. Yet here I am trapped in a vessel with stalled energy paths. A total write-off, they say. Genius? More like a joke. I stepped onto the capital's pavement, hiding a smirk. This is Tian Shui. My old student Yang Di, that stubborn kid, actually became a master here. Talk about a glow-up. I stared at the monument he built for me. 15 years. Gu Fei Yang is back. wearing the face of Li Yunxiao. Seeing my own memorial is unsettling. I turned toward the Alchemist Tower, the heart of the capital's power. I tried to pull from my core. Empty. This kid's body is a complete disaster, a dead end for any warrior. No circulation, total trash. Luckily, my soul remembers being the third strongest emperor in this entire realm. Step 1. Find Yang Di. Step 2. Fix this broken shell. I need a massive overhaul, and I need it yesterday. Give me a few years. With the wisdom of 2 lifetimes, I'll blow past my old limits and reclaim the peak. This world will kneel again. Right now, my energy channels are as dry as a desert. I need a jump start. Yang Di will have the resources. He can clear my paths. The rest, I'll handle with sheer will. Time to move. The receptionist at the guild, Lu Yao, greeted me warmly. Welcome to the Alchemist Association, young man. How can I assist? Young man? I suppressed a sigh. I'm looking for Yang Di. Is the old man in? Her expression shifted instantly. Master Yang Di? She stammered. You mean our former president, the legend himself? My heart sank a little. Former? So he's moved on. I take it he's no longer in the building? I asked, masking my frustration. Sir, Master Yang Di left his post 20 years ago, she explained. Great. My shortcut just turned into a long haul. Now I'm on my own. I need a breakthrough pill, fast. I, Gufei Yang, was once the dual master of Blade and Brew, a rank 9 sovereign, a pillar of the Alchemist City, one of the 7 elders. My name carried weight. The Holy Domain even titled me the Vanquishing Martial Emperor. I reached the 9 heavens of power. Now, nothing. My former students are probably legends by now, while I'm stuck in a 15-year-old's body that won't even twitch. If I don't force these channels open soon, I'll never recover my prime. This is a race against time. Look, I said to the girl, I'll write down a list. Can you pull these ingredients for me? She handed me paper. Be my guest, she replied. As I scribbled, a man named Gu Vin approached, his voice dripping with condescension. Who are you wasting time with, Lu Yao? Master Luang is expecting you. Move it. He looked at me with disgust. She tried to explain. Sir, this gentleman needs supplies for a formula. I'll be right there. Vin snatched the page. Let's see what kind of formula a kid dreams up, he sneered. I looked him over. Rank 1, barely. He crumpled my work into a ball. Garbage. Pure trash. He tossed it aside while Lu Yao watched in shock. My blood boiled. A recipe I'd written worth a kingdom was being called waste by a bottom-tier hack. Get to Luang's office, Vin barked at her, dismissing me like a stray dog. He didn't have a clue. This isn't a playground. Scram. I didn't move. My voice dropped an octave, cold and sharp. Your name is Gu Vin, right? You passed your rank 1 exam. What, 7 days ago? He froze, blinking. Everyone knows I leveled up 5 days back. Now show some respect and call me master. I laughed. You call yourself an alchemist? I pointed a finger. Look at your hands. Your skin is turning gray and peeling. You've been messing with Yin Wind Stone to boost your focus for the test, haven't you? His face paled instantly. And that scent? Blue Flame Orchid. You're using it to numb the corruption from the stone. Amateur move. He stared at me like I was a ghost. There's a hint of tiger sulfur, too. Your exam weapon used it as a core. How? He whispered, his bravado crumbling. I leaned in, my gaze like a freezing wind. Impossible? I mocked. You think you're clever, but you only know half the story. That orchid? It has a bite. Every day at noon, your pressure points brow, crown, solar plexus, they feel like they're on fire, don't they? He started to shake. The fear in his eyes told me I'd hit the bullseye. He was dying and he knew it. You have talent, kid. Shame it's going to waste. To live, you'll have to chop off your hand and ruin your core. Don't lie to me, he gasped, his voice cracking. I turned my back on him. Fine, have it your way. I was going to show you the cure, but why bother? Suddenly, he lunged, grabbing my shoulder in desperation. Wait, tell me how to fix it. He looked into my eyes and recoiled, sensing the sheer power radiating from me. He saw a master, not a child. My aura was a blade at his throat. He realized he wasn't talking to a boy. Sweating buckets, Gurong bowed before me, his voice a desperate whisper as he begged for answers. The Alchemist Guild went silent, everyone watching the legendary master groveling at the feet of a teenager. I've never seen a master salute a kid. Well? I asked. Where's my medicine? Gurong snapped out of it. He lunged for the paper like a man possessed. Right away, sir. The crowd stood there, completely confused. I took the script, but a sneeze hit me hard. I used the precious paper to cover my mouth. Saliva ruined the ink. Gurong looked ready to explode, but I just tossed the damp paper aside. Get 10 of everything. Bring them to Jalan Academy. Gurong stood frozen, realizing a kid was ordering him. Who are you? He stammered. I looked him dead in the eye. The name is Li Yunxiao. I didn't take your pride. You stepped on it yourself. My energy surged like a hungry tiger. I watched him tremble. He was shaking from head to toe. Remember what I said? I continued coldly. Your right hand has 3 days. Miss that window, and you'll never forge another thing in your life. Panic set in. 3 days? I don't even know these herbs. How do I know you're not playing me? I walked toward the door, waving dismissively. You're smart. You'll figure it out. Use some white moon bamboo. Mix it with wolf ginseng. It'll kill the pain in those 3 spots and buy you some time. It'll give your hand 2 more days. If you survive that long, come find me at the academy. Gu Rong clutched the note as his students fled. He was boiling inside, fueled by pure, dark hatred. He's not even a warrior. So why was I shaking? He glared at my back. Li Yunxiao, you brat. Keep acting tough. Once I have the cure, I'll rip you into 1,000 bleeding pieces, I swear. In a private room, Master Liang Wenwu gasped. A boy? You're telling me a kid wanted these herbs? Crane root and phoenix lotus? Lu Jiao nodded. Yeah, 16 years old, roughly. Liang's heart skipped a beat. Those are high-level boosters for warriors. Was there anything else on that list he gave you? These herbs blend together. It's beyond anything I've ever studied. I can't even grasp the complexity yet. If he comes back, you hold him. Don't let him leave. Then notify me immediately. Lu Jiao nodded. Crystal clear, sir. The search for the mysterious boy began. Walking through the city, I knew Gu Rong might struggle. I couldn't rely on that old man alone. I checked my storage ring. Let's see the loot. The ring glowed, revealing my sad collection of items. It was just trash, cigarettes, adult magazines, and a heavy iron sword. Nothing actually useful for my mission. 16 pounds of junk. I missed my old Star Slayer sword, but this heavy blade would have to do. I reached the academy, planning to forge my own weapons once I unlocked my true inner power. Suddenly, 2 thugs lunged at me. I dodged, drawing my sword to slice a warning into the pavement. Laji and Dufeng stepped up, baring their teeth. You're acting way too cocky today, kid. You again? Suddenly, Hanbai and Chen Zhen charged in, screaming for my blood, or rather, my protection. What are Lam Fai's dogs doing to our brother? Hanbai roared. I forgot I had loyal friends. Dufeng smirked. Lam Fai sent us to see if you're actually tough or just all talk. He attacked. My friends jumped in, shouting about bullies. Hanbai and Dufeng traded heavy blows. It was a brutal stalemate. Both guys were straining, their faces twisted as they pushed their limits. Chen Zhen braced his friend. Brother, did you really open your 4th meridian already? That's incredible. Damn right, Han panted, and these losers are no better. But then La Jie stepped forward. 4th meridian? La Jie laughed. You're bragging way too early, little man. Watch and learn. His fist glowed with 5 meridians of power. I watched Han's confidence, and his bones start to crack. A sickening snap echoed. Bach collapsed, howling. The crowd froze in shock. Just another schoolyard beatdown by rich thugs, Kiet sneered, flaunting his status. 5 pulses beat 4, Fong barked. Now beat it, losers. Try it, a girl snapped. Princess Xue stepped into the fray. She stood before me. Why would royalty shield a nobody? They retreated, muttering. You're only safe because of her. They spat. Wait, I said. You don't walk away after doing that. Fong turned, laughing. The deadbeat actually thinks he has a say? I drew my steel. Let's see the gap between us then. They took the bait. Fong's eyes burned with a cruel hunger. I'll break you, he hissed, lunging. My friends screamed in terror. Mouths gaped. I didn't flinch. I simply raised a well-timed knee. Fong folded, clutching his groin. One bad apple ruins the bunch. He sobbed on the ground. Kiet's finger shook as he pointed. My bad, I told them. He just ran right into me. The crowd whispered. Did he really just trip into a knee? Kiet wasn't fooled. This was no accident. It was a strike. Play smart, he roared. But you're a dead man walking now. My friends trembled. To them, I was a lamb facing lions. A zero-pulse apprentice versus a high-tier fighter? Absolute suicide mission. Kiet charged like a bull. I'm ending you for this. Xue screamed for me to run. I just held my ground. He unleashed 5 pulses of fury. The very air felt heavy. His fist hit my blade. A wet crunch, then total agony. I followed with a kick to his pride. Experience the pain. 2 bullies, 1 pose curled and crying. The silence was absolute. Who punches a sword? Someone laughed. What a total moron. They couldn't decide if I was a genius or just lucky. I leaned on my sword. Is that the best you've got? If I couldn't handle these thugs, I didn't deserve to breathe. I walked toward Kiet. He was pathetic, begging for his life. 1 kick sent him flying into his friend. Wall meat. I stood over them, cold. The witnesses flinched in phantom pain. Bach cleared the area. Chan whispered, Did you unlock pulses? Nope, I replied. It isn't that easy to do. Then how? I just smiled. They were just very clumsy. Xue stared at me. Who are you really? Yun Xiao? Their families will retaliate, she warned. You've made powerful enemies. I jammed my blade into the dirt near Kiet's groin. Next time, I'll finish the job, I said, walking away. You arrogant brat, she yelled. I didn't even look back, Chan sighed. The family name might not be enough this time. The academy has its own rules, Bach added, looking grim. You're talking about Lam Fai? Shue's face went pale white. 7 pulses, a true monster, and he's coming for me. I limped toward the barracks, mocking the word warrior. A real killer and a student are 2 different species entirely. My pulse was a ghost. Not one energy gate had opened. This shell was nothing but a fragile cage of bone and regret. If the gates are locked, I will tear the walls down. I cracked my knuckles, preparing the Heavenbreaker protocol. History remembers 10 monsters who ruled the world. They were the 10 sovereigns, the absolute peak of human destruction. They represented the ultimate power in this realm. Among those 10, one man was crowned the absolute tyrant. That man was Ngao Trung Kung. This forbidden manual I held was his grand body refinement, a lethal masterpiece. In my past life, I stumbled upon this secret. It is the most brutal, sun-tempered physical art in existence. I died before I could ever taste its power. Now, in this weak frame, I began the first set of agony. I crossed my arms, lungs screaming for air as I slammed into the dirt. I was completely spent, gasping for life. This technique is pure insanity. It felt like my muscle fibers were being shredded. No wonder he was a god. The entry level is pure torture, but if I master this, I can reach the summit without even opening my veins. I clenched my fists, a desperate fire in my eyes. I was once the 3rd greatest legend. I have the grit. I will not fail, I roared, initiating the first phase of the absolute tyrant ritual, the lunar shadow. My hands shook as I pushed against the earth. I looked like a drowning man, but I forced a leap. My body gave out, and I slammed hard against the stone. Blood sprayed from my lips as I wiped the wound. If that bastard could do it, I can do it better. I gritted my teeth and dove back into the dirt. 24 hours later, I stood before the Academy's gravity chambers. I had the foundation, now I needed the pressure. This weak body needed to be forged in the heavy rooms. It felt like a lifetime since I stood here. 10 years ago, I was just another face in the crowd, chasing myths and dreaming of becoming a legend. I trained until my fingers bled, obsessed with the path of the strong. This place was for the desperate. Most of these kids were poor, starving for a chance. I stepped toward the chamber set to 10 times gravity. I tossed the entry stone. It shattered instantly as I stepped into the crushing weight of the room. The pressure spiked, my breath hitched, and the air felt like liquid lead pressing against my chest. Every bone rattled. This body was failing at 10 times gravity, but I had a plan for this weakness. I exited the room, dripping in sweat. 10 times gravity nearly killed me, but the preparation was complete. There were 200 rooms, all packed with students waiting for their turn to break themselves. I used my mental senses to scout the floor. Room 13 was about to open. I needed that space now. I had to master the lunar shadow before I used the stimulants to force my energy gates open. I slipped into room 13 just as the previous occupant left. The crowd outside stared in total shock. The group erupted in anger. They had been waiting for hours, only to be jumped by a nobody. They called me lucky. They wondered how I knew exactly when the door would unlock. It was supernatural. Someone muttered that I had no energy signature. Without power, 10 times gravity should have crushed my skull. I ignored them. They were sheep. They couldn't begin to fathom the mental strength I possessed. A heavy hand caught my shoulder. A guy named Du Hoa, a top-tier student with 7 gates open, blocked me. He told me to hand over the room. I looked him in the eye and told him to go to hell. The room went silent. The crowd started whispering about the honored student being treated like trash. He tried to play it cool, offering me protection in exchange for the room. He was a joke. I told him to shut his mouth and move. His face turned a sickly shade of white as he laughed. He called me a worthless freak. He couldn't believe a kid with 0 power dared to speak to him. He promised to teach me the rules of the food chain. He started glowing with a faint, threatening light. He was ready to break me. He wanted everyone to see what happened to newbies who didn't know their place. The crowd gasped. He was projecting pure energy. Word was he had just unlocked his 7th gate. It usually takes months to stabilize that kind of power, but he had done it in 7 days. Some doubted he was a true warrior yet. If he were, he would be glowing with a divine aura. Even so, the raw pressure of his energy was enough to make the other students back away in fear. Give me 10 days. 10 days to reach the first realm. Du was still there, barking like a dog. I'm feeling merciful today, Du sneered. I'll just snap your ribs and leave your life. Move! I didn't blink. That tiger fist, all noise, no soul. A paper tiger in a real storm. You have the form, but you're hollow. The crowd started whispering, eyes glued to the confrontation. Is he actually mocking a peak expert? He's lost it. He's facing a monster with 7 gates. Arrogant? Maybe. But his words carry a weight that doesn't match his empty power levels. To hell with your logic, Du screamed. I'm ending this. He lunged, aiming for my throat. I pivoted. A faint dragon's roar echoed in my blood. Du's confidence evaporated in a heartbeat. His face turned ash. My presence was a physical weight, crushing the air out of him. Like an insect flying into a furnace. He realized too late he was feeding my fire. My rank alone should kill you, he roared, trying to shake off the sudden icy dread. I snatched his wrist mid-strike. He froze. I drove a heavy counter straight into his shoulder. He hit the dirt, gasping. If this body wasn't so fragile, he'd be in a casket. I should have taken the arm. Du stood up, trembling, his pride bleeding out on the floor. The room went silent. Did that failure just drop the top student with one single blow? He has 0 energy. No aura. Is he some kind of secret master hiding in plain sight? Du's mind raced. He's a fluke. Just weird timing. If he had real power, I'd be dead. Stop, Du. Let it go. La Lam Doa's voice was like ice cutting through the heat. Give me 5 minutes, Lam. I'll break this trash and take your training room back. Forget it, she said. Let him have it. I looked at her. Still looking down on me? Still no power to you? Just tricks. You're a beautiful vase with nothing inside, purely for show. You aren't wrong, I replied. Power is the only thing that actually matters in this world. The gap is a mountain now. You're a Lee heir, just go live your comfortable, pathetic life. You know this loser? Du asked, confused. Why would a genius like you know him? The Lai family failure? The one who can't even open a single gate? That's him? The legendary washout. No wonder he feels like a ghost. A complete waste of noble blood. I heard even the High Masters gave up. His veins are stone. A total lost cause. He used to stalk Lamdoa until they beat the obsession out of him. Pathetic loser. She's a goddess. She wouldn't let a worm like him crawl in her shadow. My old self, Gu Fei Yang, was still waking up. The previous owner was a desperate simp. My man must be a god, she'd told me. Unless you win, you're just a ghost. Beat me and I might care, I sighed. They have no idea who's actually back. Du laughed. A bottom feeder chasing a phoenix? You don't know your place, trash. You've got it wrong. I won't fight you. I have no time for children's games. I turned toward the gym. Du stayed frozen, his face white, cold sweat dripping down. He's a 0. A failure. So why did his eyes feel like a blade at my throat? One look and I felt the abyss staring back. What kind of monster is he hiding? I can't do it. I can't fight him. Doa sighed. Tu was right about your fist. It's all flash, no fire. If you actually knew the art, he wouldn't have caught you. The laughter burned. Du's sanity snapped, his mind fixated on tearing my name apart. I stepped inside. 2 iron dummies stood in the dark, silent witnesses to my rebirth. Centuries of rust. Every age has fools like me, chasing the peak through blood and iron. No time for memories. I need to force these veins open. I need my throne back. 10 years. By then, the world will remember why they feared the name Gu Fei Yang. I need to claw back my power. If I can unblock these channels and focus, maybe in 10 years. I had to reach the 9 heavens. I took a sharp breath, then threw everything I had into a punch at the metal ghost. It struck back instantly. I hit the wall so hard my vision blurred, blood painting the floor as my body convulsed. Clutching my shattered arm, I realized 10 times gravity made my yin-yang technique lethal. My nerves were screaming. I forced myself up. 3 days. That was all I needed to hit the apprentice level and open 60% of my meridians. I lunged back into the fray, screaming for more. Fresh blood sprayed the stone as I tore into the machine again. While I bled in silence, rumors of my one-hit knockout against Duhuachin were already poisoning the campus air. Nobody believed a nobody could take down a peak apprentice. The shockwaves of that fight were felt everywhere. 3 days later, when I finally stepped out, the crowd gasped. I looked less like a student and more like a walking massacre. My clothes were shredded rags, and the copper scent of fresh blood followed me like a heavy, suffocating shadow. I moved past the 10 times gravity zone. Whispers erupted. People wondered what kind of monster would do this to himself. Is he suicidal? Some muttered. Then recognition hit that was the guy who broke Duhuachin without even opening his veins. I realized then that they saw my secret. Victory isn't about talent, it's about being willing to die while training. Lalandoa had promised me a shot if I beat her, but the odds were stacked against a ghost like me. She is a top 5 prodigy. Rumors say she has already reached the 1 origin stage, a level most only dream of. A real warrior versus a piece of trash. The next student entered my training room and immediately started screaming. Their shriek echoed through the hall. Everyone rushed over, faces pale as they peered into the carnage of room 13. The room was a slaughterhouse. Walls were painted red with my blood, and in the center, a sight that defied logic. The black iron dummy was snapped in 2. They whispered in terror, wondering if I was even human at all. Later, in the steam, I watched my wounds close. The tyrant body art was working better than any grade 9 elixir. It is the world's ultimate cultivation method. I felt the raw power hum under my skin as the water washed away the filth. Now that I have an apprentice's strength, I can forge basic pills to skyrocket my progress. I just need ingredients. Suddenly, a cold breeze brushed my neck. A shadow lunged from the corner, aimed straight for my unprotected spine. A fist flew toward me. My instincts took over. I caught it mid-air and twisted the attacker's wrist till it popped. It was Han Bak. He hit the dirt with a pathetic howl. "It is me, Yun," he sobbed, clutching his mangled hand. The fat guy wailed, staring at his crooked arm. "It is broken. You actually broke it." I just shrugged. "You should not sneak up." I reached out to examine the damage. He flinched, screaming in pain. "I just wanted to see if you were different," he gasped. "You are too strong, Yun. You are not the same person." I did not answer, my hands moving toward his dislocated joint. "I have not even unlocked my core yet," I said coldly. "Why are you bothering me?" He looked at me in disbelief. "Still no core? You are a freak. Anyway, Professor Luo is hunting for you. Where have you been hiding for 3 days? That brat Luo? What does she want?" I gave his arm a sharp tug, and he shrieked like a dying pig. "Done. It is back in place." I wiped my hands as he collapsed, face down in the dirt, groaning in agony. "Calling her a brat? You have lost your mind." He scrambled up and grabbed my leg. "Listen, things just got dangerous. Lam Fai has been ghosting everyone. He is in seclusion, trying to force a breakthrough to the One Origin level. His goons, Dufang and Lakit, are waiting. Once he emerges as a true warrior, you are his first target." "One Origin?" I scoffed. "That is nothing to worry about." Han Bak's jaw dropped like I had just insulted a god. "Nothing? Do you realize what that means? It is the birth of true Qi. He will be a real cultivator, not just a trainee. The gap between an apprentice and a warrior is a mountain you cannot climb. It is a completely different world of pain. Even Princess Snow is terrified for you. And here you are, acting like it is just another Tuesday. You are insane." I remembered Lam Fai, the bully in chief. I patted Han's shoulder, a dark thought crossing my mind. I needed more power. "I have a more pressing issue," I told him. He looked confused. "What could possibly be more important than your life? Give me every cent you have. I need meds." He hesitated, then handed over his pouch without another word. As I reached the gate, he called out, "Are you not scared? Out of 3,000 students, only 30 make it. It is suicide!" I just waved him off, the coins jingling in my hand like a death knell. I gave him a grin. "Fear is useless, but if I survive this hell, I will pay you back every single cent. I promise." He just shook his head. "You have changed, Yun. I do not know if you are a hero or just a dead man walking." The door explodes inward. Hanbai is kicked backward, crashing at my feet. Tran Chan is also hammered into the floor, broken. Slumped beside Hanbai, Tran Chan is a bloody mess, teeth missing and covered in wounds. I turn, my eyes narrowing instantly. It is Lam Fai. He leads his gang into my dorm, sneering that I am a brat. He calls me a dead man. "You had the nerve to touch my people," he snarls. "Today, I will cripple you." His aura flares with thick, murderous intent. I steady Tran Chan. His lackey fawns over the chi glow, shouting that their boss has finally ascended to a true warrior. Another thug demands revenge. I ignore them, checking Tran Chan's pulse while assessing his battered, bloody state and broken ribs. Not fatal. I look at Lam Fai. Just a first-tier warrior? Why the light show? Trying to be a lamp for others? "Do you think you are a glowing pearl?" Lam Fai's face contorts with rage. He points a finger directly at my face. "Kneel and beg for mercy," he screams, "or I will snap every bone in your body." I just stare back, cold and bored. Cripple me? Sounds fun. I gently lay Tran Chan down and step toward Lam Fai. It has been ages since someone acted tough. My sudden shift in pressure catches him off guard. His face pales, looking like a sick frog. He freezes, sensing something wrong. What is this fear? He wonders, trembling. He draws his sword, forcing his energy to peak, then lunges straight at my chest. He thinks to himself that if he does not strike now, he will never find the courage again. He calls his terror absurd. I raise my blade. "Come on then, stop talking and show me." Lam Fai's ego snaps under the mockery and he roars. He screams, swinging wildly at my sword. "How dare you laugh at me?" The impact echoes through the small, cramped dormitory room. I slide back, using my blade to balance. His strength is decent, but it leaves a small notch in my cheap steel blade. Lam Fai looks stunned. He cannot believe I blocked his strike. His thugs stand there, their mouths hanging open in total disbelief. "How did this trash stop me?" he panics. Even a trainee should not survive a full blow from a genuine martial artist rank. He wonders if I opened my meridians, yet he feels no chi. I just let out a dark, slow, and mocking laugh. "Entertaining," I say. "It has been a long time since a fight felt real. Things are weird, but that swing had spice." "Come here," I beckon. Let Big Brother teach you. Let us see how many more moves you can actually handle today. His gang gasps. Lamphai's rage boils. He raises his sword high, preparing his family's signature technique, the cloud flow strike. He charges. I am a true one-star warrior now. There is no way a loser like you can ever win this fight. His lackey cheers, calling it the unstoppable cloud flow style. You are dead meat now, kid, they scream from the back. I sigh. Cloud flow is supposed to be fluid, like water, controlled by the mind. This is just a total mess. You are waving that glowing sword around like a burning torch, I mock. If you did not name it, I wouldn't know. Shut up, Lamphai roars. Just die, I smirk, spinning my hilt with a flick of my wrist. A sharp ring sounds. Getting a lesson from me is the luckiest thing for your ancestors. My blade flashes, sending his sword flying into the air. His weapon embeds itself into the door. The room goes silent. Lamphai stares at his empty hands, his eyes wide. I sheathe my blade and exhale. Standing before him, my shadow looms large. He still does not understand how he lost. His hands shake. How? I am a warrior. You have not even opened your pulse. I do not give him time. I lunge, my fist connecting hard with his jaw. He hits the wall with a thud. His cronies scream his name aloud. Boss! Lamphai! They cry. He is a bloody mess, my boot print practically tattooed onto his face. I step closer. I drive my sword into the floor, inches from his manhood. He shrieks in terror. What are you doing? Don't touch me! I give him a murderous look. Oh, I am so scared. Your last swing made my hand go numb. See it? I am worried I might slip. I growl, moving the blade closer. He begins to sob, begging for his life. Please, stop! Take it away! He wails. I lean in, my voice dropping to a low, dangerous, and very icy whisper. I used to let your crap slide, but you touched my friends. You tried to kill me. How do I forgive? He trembles, tears streaming. I am just a kid. Please, I need that part. I will give you anything. Have mercy. His thugs, men and women alike, cover themselves, shivering. They can feel his phantom pain from across the dorm room. I rub my thumb and forefinger. Fine. You want to keep your junk? It will cost you. Pay up right now. Lamphai fumbles for his ring. Money! Yes, I have gold. Take it all. I turn to his wide-eyed, shaking followers. And the rest of you? I ask, flashing a sharp smile. Are you just going to stand there? Hand over the tax. They start emptying their pockets, terrified. I take the ring, checking the loot. This covers the hospital bills for now. I kick Lamphai away. Get out, and tell your friends. And if I see your faces again, the next cut won't miss. Want to keep your lives? Hand over the rings and the gold. Lamphai watched his crew empty their pockets in terror. Can we leave now? I bagged their loot, but my eyes locked onto the jade pendant on his belt. I sliced the cord with my blade. I'll take this. He shrieked like I'd just cut his throat. Anything but that, please. I just stared him down with ice in my veins. That's a family heirloom. Only 5 exist in the entire Lamb clan, held only by the elite. It's not just an ID. It's my life. It's worthless to you, but everything to me. He knew his family would skin him alive. I scoffed. Your goons didn't pay enough. Give me the jade, or I'll castrate every one of your men right here. Your choice. Jade or his men? He panicked. If he chose the jade, his reputation would be dead forever. The girls begged for the men's lives. Lamphai cleared his throat, trying to look noble. The jade is precious, but my brothers mean more to me. He tried to play the hero. They actually fell for it, sobbing with admiration. Lamphai, you're a true legend. Time to go. I laughed. Don't act like a saint after I let you off easy. I lunged forward. Lamphai spun around, seeing my steel inches from his face. Coward. He grabbed a girl and used her as a shield. She screamed in pure horror. I vanished my sword. Relax, Phi. Just a joke. Now get lost before I change my mind. His face turned white. His crew saw his cowardice. Let's move, he barked, retreating in shame. I checked the jade. 5-element divine vein. Perfect. I knew I wasn't alone. Come out, Guti. He dropped from the roof, landing silently right behind me. He'd seen everything. He couldn't figure out how a kid like me crushed Lamphai. He came here to threaten me for the antidote, but now he was visibly trembling. He's a mid-level fighter, just like Lamphai, but he's completely lost his nerve. Satisfied? Got the goods? He handed over a small satchel of rare herbs. Only 60%. These are rare even for the Alchemist Association. That's all I found. 60 will do. I pointed to my injured friends. Fix them up first. He bristled. Who do you think I am? I don't take orders from some brat. Then get lost, he fumed. A Tier 1 alchemist, treated like a common servant. But he had no choice. Guti walked over and started the examination in silence. He finished the treatment and turned to me. Done. Now give me the cure. And stop ordering me around. I smirked. I'm still not satisfied with you. People beg for my guidance. You'll be begging me for help soon enough, old man. You playing me? You think this is a game? He screamed, his face turning red. I flicked a paper at him. I don't waste time scamming bottom-tier hacks like you. Bottom tier? He caught it, ready to explode. But then he read the first few lines. His jaw dropped. The paper was heavy with genius. He started mumbling to himself. His eyes went wide. Is this glowing? He quickly stuffed the formula into his robe. He knew it was real. This kid is a freak of nature. A terrifying, brilliant freak. His pride was gone. I have the formula. We're done here, he said, turning away quickly. It cures the poison, I called out as I walked inside. With no side effects. But tell me, since you were poisoned, hasn't your soul power felt hollow? Like it's draining away every single time you try to refine something? He froze, his body shaking. How could I possibly know his darkest secret? Soul decay is a death sentence. It's 100 times harder to fix than training. You're talented, sure. But a breakthrough? Maybe in 50 years, if you're lucky. His face went ghost white. 50 years. And that was the best case scenario. Maybe I'm just a high-level alchemy apprentice. I laughed. Nothing more. But I can turn you into a true master within 50 days. Gurong rushed me. 50 days? Liar. Even at my peak strength. It's impossible to advance that fast. I wouldn't be this desperate otherwise. Cut the crap, I snapped. You aren't even worth the effort of lying. Gurong froze. My words were harsh, but he couldn't let this go. Forgive my outburst, he whispered. Can you really restore my soul power? Not just restore it, I said. I'll make you a tier 1 master. He looked broken. What do you want? Be my servant, I replied. You're delusional. A child like you expects a master to serve him? You think you're qualified? It's a 50-day contract, then get lost. Gurong shivered. This wasn't arrogance. It felt like absolute divine truth. It was as if I was the one doing him a massive favor. His mind was a mess. Who was I? Was I just a lunatic? If I was crazy, how did I see through him when books failed? He'd studied every archive in the guild and found no cure. Does serving me hurt your pride? He thought. Hell yes, it does. I released my killing intent. Gurong collapsed, gasping on the floor. Where did this crushing power come from? I was paralyzed with terror. He could erase my soul in a heartbeat, like a shark killing prey. 3 seconds to decide, I said coldly. Yes or no? He panicked. It was greatness or a lifetime of regret. I'll do it. Good choice. You'll thank me for this for the rest of your life. I tossed him a scroll. Follow this. 50 days to your breakthrough. If you fail, you're useless and fired. Don't ever come back. He read the title and screamed. The soul refining art? Impossible. It's just the basic version, but it'll fix your pathetic soul. Gurong looked at me with pure awe. Is this really real? Master, he cried. Call me young master, and do your job. Go. If I need you, I'll find you at the Alchemist Guild. He left, dazed. For an alchemist, soul power is the ultimate goal. Usually, it's a slow, agonizing grind of repetition just to improve. Legend spoke of a direct path to power, but it was lost. Most thought it was a myth. Yet here it was in his hands. Now he knew why I was so terrifying. I was the myth. That soul pressure must have been the fabled soul projection technique. This priceless treasure was just garbage to me. I just gave it away. Not even the royal family possesses something this incredibly valuable. Serving him for a few years? That's the bargain of the century. Who is he? Meanwhile, my roommates were snoring like freight trains. I sat in meditation. My soul is currently weaker than a beginner's. Crushing that old man's spirit used every drop of my energy. Being reborn is just step 1. I'm going beyond the heavens. My memories are my greatest weapon, not just some physical skill. Before I died, I found it. The secret that changes everything. Deep within the Tiandang Mountains, I discovered the great evolution art, a soul-refining technique far beyond anything in existence. The secrets within its pages defy logic. My sudden rebirth was clearly triggered by this mysterious scripture. As my past life flooded back, these ancient glyphs burned into my mind like a permanent brand. Once I channel this power, my soul will recover instantly. Most warriors here are either meatheads or scholars. You have your martialists who focus on energy, though few ever bother to toughen their actual physical shells. Then there are the alchemists, the soulsmiths. They balance spirit and mind to carve out their legendary status. But as Li Yunxiao, I mastered both paths, reaching the 9th tier sovereign rank in my prime. I mastered the harmony of spirit better than any other high-ranking sovereign on the global leaderboards. Reaching the peak of 2 paths is humanly impossible, yet I stood alone at the top of the world. Trapped at the peak of the 9 heavens, I realized my physical body was the only thing holding me back. So, I forged the divine body art. Only by perfecting soul, energy, and flesh can one reach true godhood. My soul is mending at light speed. With this scripture, I will reclaim my throne as a ninth-tier sovereign. Combined with my body-refining secrets, I will finally shatter the legendary 10,000-year barrier. I will be unstoppable. Now, I will use these 5 colored stones to forge 30 needles and unlock my DNA. It is time to jumpstart my meridians. Honestly, Gu Vin did a decent job sourcing these raw materials. I tossed the powder into the air, watching it swirl into a glowing alchemical circle under my mental command. I shattered the jade pendant, unleashing a flood of golden soul energy that filled every corner of the room. I am puppeteering these ingredients in mid-air, using pure soul focus like a master conductor in the dark. My past life instincts kicked in, merging ancient formations and medicinal arts into one fluid, deadly strike. This soul burst turns a total rookie into a god, allowing a first-level beginner to craft like a master. Even with this weak student frame, I can synthesize complex elixirs that would make veteran alchemists weep. The mixture crystallized. Suddenly, the needles shot into my pressure points, screaming with raw, unbridled energy. My blood felt like liquid fire as I felt my very existence rewriting itself in the shadows. "Break!" I roared. 5 massive energy rings erupted through the smoke, shattering the silence of the night. I stepped out, checking my hands. Only 5 meridians? Not exactly the miracle I was hoping for, honestly. These needles are potent. I need to hunt down the remaining 4 pieces of that blue jade immediately. My friends Han and Chen finally woke up, stumbling toward me with looks of absolute horror. They think the Lan family poisoned me. Chen was ready to call in a hit squad for revenge. "Young master, you look like death," they gasped. I forgot the potion turns my skin a sickly green. "Calm down," I said, wiping the grime off. I just had a very productive, very violent night. Their jaws hit the floor when I told them I had wiped out the Lan goons and looted them. "Wait, you are saying you actually opened 5 meridians in one go?" They looked at me like I was a ghost. "Every single one," I confirmed. They just stared at each other, wondering what hell had broken loose. Chen started laughing. "I knew it! A general's son does not just stay a loser forever, does he? He is already dreaming of leading millions of soldiers to crush the Lan family into the dirt." But Han was the voice of reason. "Opening meridians is great, but now you have a target on your back. The Lan family will not take this lying down. You are in more danger now than ever before." Chen scoffed. "Please. They are no match for him now, and they would not dare attack us at school. This academy is protected by Headmaster Zhong Lisun, a legendary 5th-tier martial king. He is the strongest man in the kingdom. Even the emperor bows to the school's strict neutrality. Inside these walls, your own power is your only shield. It is a survival of the fittest nightmare. We are not just students. We are combatants in a never-ending struggle for status and survival." Han shook his head. "Lan Fei is a cockroach, but he is not the one you should fear. You are forgetting about his half-brother, Lan Xuan. He is ranked 3rd on the elite student list." I looked at the horizon. Local rankings mean nothing to a man who has already conquered the heavens. On the Heavenly Martial Leaderboard, I'm ranked 3 among the world's absolute elites. Han Bak sighed. "Lam Huyen is graduating soon. Word is he's already a level 2 warrior." Tran Chan gasped. "A warrior? He'll be a national guardian." Han Bak shook his head. "An 18-year-old warrior? He's a freak of nature. He'll be a high commander soon." Tran Chao sighed. "Hope we survive until he graduates. Warriors don't bully losers, right? Surely he wouldn't come after us over some petty school drama." Yun Xiao just laughed. "Relax. He's definitely coming for me. If he doesn't, I'll go find him myself." The guys panicked. "What the hell? Yun Xiao, please don't go looking for trouble." Yun Xiao wanted that 5-colored stone Hu Yen had. Meanwhile, at the Lam house, "Uncle, I can't just let this go," Lam Fai whined. Teacher Vuong Fong snapped. "Shut up, you moron! You almost ruined everything." Luckily, Hu Yen is busy meditating. Lam Fai blinked. "Is it that bad? I just wanted Hu Yen to beat him up." Vuong Fong yelled, "Beat him up? You're calling him brother? You have no brains." "Li Yun Xiao is nothing. Your real enemy is Lam Huyen. You lost the heirloom. If Huyen finds out, the family will disown you. You'll lose everything instantly. You'll go from a prince to a peasant. Do you understand that reality?" Lam Fai turned pale. "Uncle, please. What do I do? You have to help me. Relax. Your family. In 7 days, I'll be the head exam proctor. If he can't prove his power, I'll disqualify him and take back the treasure. Once he's out of school, we kill him. It's that simple. Do what you want." Lam Fai frowned. "Wait, 7 days? I hate him too much to wait that long." Fong Fong scoffed. "If you can't be patient, you're useless compared to Lam Huyen." Lam Fai trembled with rage. "Fine, 7 days, but he won't live in peace. I've got a plan to ruin his reputation tonight. I just need your help." "What's the plan?" Lam Fai whispered it. The teacher burst out laughing. "Brilliant. If this works, we don't wait 7 days. You really are your mother's son. That night, Yun Xiao sensed movement outside. Who's bold enough to interrupt my meditation? He detected 2 heat signatures by the door. Burglars or something more fun? A letter slid under the door. A love poem signed by the popular La Lam. A love letter? A midnight date at the Pine Grove? This should be good. 2 goons slipped into his room. Plant the gear. This loser is dead tonight. Lam Fai is a genius. This idiot is probably dreaming of a date right now. Does he think a goddess would look at him? Finish up and let's go. The show starts soon. They finished their work and scurried out, laughing. Yun Xiao watched from a tree. What are they up to? He went back inside. He found a pile of women's underwear on his bed and chuckled. Classy. If you want to play dirty, Lam Fai, let's go. I'm a professional. The Pine Grove was a notorious lover's lane at night. It was packed with couples. Using his vision, he saw everyone hiding behind rocks and trees, getting busy. Suddenly, a girl's scream cut through the air. Help! Lucky I want you! The girl reached Yun Xiao, her face a mask of terror. Then she froze. Stop right there, the man roared. I chose you, and that's a goddamn blessing. The girl huddled near Yun Xiao, acting the victim, but her face turned pale. A cold blade pressed against her throat. My sword. She trembled, her voice failing as she whispered my name. Stay still if you value your life. She broke down, sobbing and offering me anything just to be saved. I kept my expression icy. The creep finally caught up, grabbing her and telling me to beat it. He claimed she was his property now. With a disgusting smirk, he began to tear at her clothes. He barked at me to get lost so he could finish his business. The girl's desperate screams echoed. I flipped the switch to hero mode. Don't worry, sweetheart, I said, grabbing his collar. I've got you. She shoved the predator back and sprinted toward me. He scrambled up, his face red with pure rage. He screamed, Do you know who I am? I am Liu Yitian, son of the Imperial Guard Commander. I gripped her shoulder firmly. Oh, I mused. So you are the infamous Liu Yitian. How interesting. I looked at her. Asking for her name and story. Her name was Mangvu. I pulled her close. You are safe. Look at you, you are shaking. She stuttered, eyes wide. She realized then that I might have planned this whole scene from the start. Feng thanked me for the tip. Without my warning, this would have ended in a complete tragedy. He told me to watch over her while he handled the mess. He could not let Liu die. I silenced her with a look. Go ahead, sir. I will make sure she is taken care of. From the shadows, Laquiette realized I had turned their own trap against them. I was 10 steps ahead. He asked if they should intervene, but Lam Fei snapped. And get caught ourselves? Forget it. Lam Fei decided to cut his losses. Let him take the fall. The dean won't actually kill him. He checked if the evidence was planted. 2 shadows had already slipped into the dormitory rooms. They confirmed the job was done. Unlike some, they claimed to actually deliver on their promises. Lam Fei smirked. You escaped this one, Li, but the next trap is already set. Good luck. I comforted the girl, but my mind was elsewhere. The real show was just about to begin. Feng pulled Liu from the mob. I lifted the girl up, telling her the threat was neutralized. She blushed, clinging to me. Feng sighed, noting that the creep was permanently broken now. I caught Hanbai's eye. Brutal? Maybe. But in this world, you play the villain to win. Feng ordered everyone back. He would report this to the dean. Liu got what he deserved. He told me to stop holding her so close and find her roommates to take her home. A few girls stepped forward, claiming they lived with her. Feng told them to stay in touch. I draped my jacket over her shoulders. Stay safe, I whispered as they led her away. She looked back, but I just waved. Just doing my duty. Come find me if you need anything. Suddenly, Lam Fei's group blocked the path. A group of female students looked absolutely furious. Lam Fei played the hero. Dean, thank God you are here. We have a serious problem. He announced there was a pervert among us. Someone had stolen all the girls' intimate apparel. The crowd gasped in disgust. An underwear thief? Everyone started whispering and looking around. Even the princess had been targeted. She demanded that the thief be caught and punished immediately. Lam Fei pointed toward the woods. I saw someone suspicious running this way, he lied, smiling. Someone asked why he cared so much. Lam Fei stammered, trying to keep his fake story straight. The girls are whispering. That icy noble kid is suddenly talking way too much today. I saw the thief bolt this way, someone screams. Boss, Lam Fei spotted him. Lam Fei acts like a hero. I'm just doing my duty. Follow me, everyone. He plays the saint. As students, we have responsibilities. Why are you dodging the truth? You look guilty, he sneers. I'm 90% sure you're the rat, Li Yun Xiao. His crony nods. Yeah, I saw him. He looked exactly like Li Yun Xiao. Search his room and prove his innocence, Lam Fei demands. Otherwise, you're the prime suspect. You think you have the authority to raid my life? You're nobody to me. Ruoksu defends me. That shaky-kneed lackey looks like he's about to crack under pressure. If he lies, it's game over. Treason charges mean a death sentence for his family. Lam Fai glares. The terrified goon points a finger. It was him. It was Lee. Lam Fai laughs. A sharp, ugly sound. Any last words before we take you down? I turn to Professor Feng. Fine. Search it. But if I'm clean, he pays up. Feng eyes the brat. Lam Fai nods. If you're innocent, I'll give you an explanation. Good. I trust the professor's sense of justice more than a rich kid's ego. Ruok Sue's worried, but I just wink. Integrity is a shield, not just a word. I've got a clean conscience. A man with no shadows doesn't fear the light. The girls are murmuring now. My confidence is starting to flip the script on them. Welcome to my humble abode, I say, grinning. Let's see who the real liar is. Ruoksu knows it's a setup. She's looking at me like I'm a total idiot. We reach the door and find Professor Wang already waiting there, looking grave. Heard there was a predator on the loose, Wang says. Couldn't just sit this out. Strange, you're at my door, I note. Wasn't the thief supposedly in the woods? Wang's eyes narrow. Efficiency saves time. Let's find out if you're our guy. Professor Feng looks skeptical. Is there something you're not telling us, Wang? The thief is a menace, Wang declares. Catch him and expel him instantly. No mercy. Feng's voice drops. I hate thieves, but I despise frame-ups even more. Be warned. Agreed, Wang says smoothly. Total transparency. I'll report the findings to the dean myself. If you're so keen on fairness, Professor, then by all means, lead the way. I throw the door open, search every inch, see if I'm the creep they claim. Lam Fai's crew exchange smirks. They think they've already won this little game. Tear it apart. Lam Fai commands his dog. Mancon rushes in, sweating bullets. Anyone caught planting evidence, Feng warns, will be the first one kicked out today. Ruoxue pushes through. She isn't letting that snake out of her sight for a second. Everyone in, Wang suggests. Let's witness the truth together, shall we? I step back, arms crossed. Be my guest. Enjoy the tour of my room. Mancon dives for my bed, ripping the covers back with a desperate look. Nothing. His face goes pale as he frantically checks the mattress, finding zero evidence. Lam Fai snaps. He grabs the kid's collar, hissing. Where is it, you moron? Tell me again, he roars. Feng watches the meltdown, finally seeing the strings. Your master told you to find something. I mock. Why are you standing there empty-handed? Wang clears his throat. It's a small room. He's clearly clean. Moving on. Ruoksu lets out a breath. She finally realizes I had a plan all along. Wang turns to leave, but I block the exit. My smile is gone. Leaving? You were so excited about justice. Don't we still have a thief to catch? Without hard proof or talkative witnesses, this mystery remains for the Academy Board to untangle on their own. I asked if the brat was lying, certain that his owner was the real puppet master pulling the strings. The guy panicked, accusing me of a setup, but I just turned toward him with a cold, steady gaze. Now that my name is clear, I told him it is his turn to give me a massive explanation. I kept it simple. Let me toss your room right now to prove you are as clean as claimed. I told the noble heir I did not doubt him. I just could not swallow this level of disrespect. He snapped, saying he would keep his word and let me search just to shut me up for good. My buddy realized the brat was losing this fight and whispered that we should vanish before things turned south. The entire crowd followed us like a pack of hungry wolves, straight to the suspect's private living quarters. He opened the door, mocking us as poor losers, while warning us not to touch his expensive designer gear. I gave the signal to my crew to start the sweep while I watched his face turn pale. The guy suddenly hauled out a heavy trunk, complaining that the damn thing was locked tight and heavy. He smirked, claiming it was just his wardrobe and he held the only key before popping it wide open. The room went dead silent as everyone stared at the pile of stolen girls' lingerie stuffed inside that trunk. He screamed it was a frame job, but I reminded him he just said he was the only key holder. I stood my ground, reminding the creep that he just swore he held the only key to that filth. The girls erupted in fury, calling him a total predator and demanding the dean kick him out immediately. They found bars of soap inside, and I wondered why a thief would keep cleaning supplies with stolen goods. My friend joked about the guy's sick pick-it-up games, making his own goons back away in disgust. The crew called him a freak, and his own henchmen scrambled to get away from his side instantly. He was shaking and crying as I announced to the room that his perverted thievery was finally exposed. The truth was out. He was a thief and a harasser who deserved the worst kind of punishment possible. Though we wanted to tear him apart, I said we should follow the rules and let justice prevail. I told the crowd to let the instructors decide his fate, and they all roared for total, fair justice. The instructor looked at me, clearly shocked that a nobody like me could be so incredibly calculating and sharp. He promised the dean would hear everything and that a fair explanation would be given to every single student. The girls swore they would go to the king if the school did not banish this monster forever. My classmates vowed they would never share the same sky with such a disgusting and pathetic excuse for human. The crowd chanted for his head, declaring they would never rest until that animal was gone for good. He fell to his knees, begging his uncle for mercy, but the old man just shoved him away. His uncle disowned him on the spot, turning his back while I stared down the defeated loser's throat. I savored the victory while he crumbled into a shaking, crying mess at my very feet like a coward. The verdict came fast. With mountains of evidence, the board voted to banish him from the school forever. My buddy ran to my dorm, shouting that he had 2 pieces of news, one good and one bad. I knew the good news was the expulsion, but I asked him to hit me with the bad stuff. He said I was a psychic, but the bad news was the brat's uncle was running our finals. My crew was terrified, thinking we would all fail the year because that teacher would surely hunt us down. I laughed and told them if that old man tried anything, I would pack his bags just like his nephew. My friend warned me not to be reckless, reminding me that a teacher has way more power than students. I told him I did not care about titles and asked if the older brother had made a move. He said the big brother wanted revenge, which meant we were in for some serious, life-threatening trouble soon. I just grinned, thinking about the rare magic stone that big brother was about to deliver to my door. Deep in the Alchemist Guild, my teacher stood before the masters, testing her skills on a massive iron axe. She was sweating bullets, shouting for the metal to hold as the glowing weapon hovered in the mid-air. She caught the axe and exhaled in relief, presenting the finished masterpiece to the high officials of the kingdom. Guild Chairman Hua Han gripped my sun axe, eyes gleaming. "Master Yun, simply incredible work. Top tier grade 1, he announced. The council cheered. I had finally crossed the finish line. I thanked the masters. Hua Han leaned in, his voice a low, gravelly rasp. "How did you stabilize the gold? You failed that step in every previous attempt." I recalled the boy's secret advice. The chemical reaction is usually far too violent. I added celestial sand to slow the burn, but it presented a new problem. Normally, sand's water essence kills the fire, rendering the entire ritual completely useless. So I treated it as slag. I refined the sand out after it stabilized. Silence. A simple fix for a deadly error. Hua Han smiled a grim smile. Brilliant. Our kingdom finally has a true alchemist among these many talentless pretenders. The king must know. A royal banquet shall celebrate your rise tomorrow night. I stood frozen. These masters knew nothing. My victory felt like a clever theft. Please, I whispered. No parties. I prefer the quiet shadows of the forge. Elder Nyeom stepped up. In this kingdom, promotion is a mandatory matter of state. You have mastered the sword and the vial at such a remarkably young age. 2 royal galas in 3 years? Only the legendary Yang Di ever managed that. I shook my head humbly. I cannot be compared to a godlike legend like him. Yang Di had a god for a mentor. You have done this entirely alone. With a real teacher, you will surpass him. Today, we celebrate our 2 stars. You and Gu Rong are the future. Suddenly, the warm air turned ice cold. To Vien Kyo spat, Gu Rong is nothing but a walking, rotting corpse right now. The room froze. Explain yourself, the chairman demanded, his eyes narrowing with suspicion. I tried to leave. Hua Han stopped me. Stay. You were part of the family. Kyo smirked. Gu Rong cheated. He used the forbidden soul-rotting Yin Windstone. Gasps. That stone offers quick power but demands a life in a dark exchange. Nonsense, someone cried. Q threw a ledger onto the heavy, scarred oak table. He has been buying every detox herb in the city to stop the rot. He is fighting poison with poison. He is already a hollowed-out, dying shell. Bring him here, Hua Han roared. Drag him out of his hole this instant. I watched the door. Ambition is a drug. I had almost tasted it once. Everyone murmured. Using that stone is a death sentence for any alchemist's future career. It is too absurd, Hua Han said. Kyo, you have always held a grudge. You harassed him since he was an apprentice. You cannot just fabricate such lies. Fabricate? Q laughed. The poison has likely reached his very marrow by this hour. Here is the evidence. My men tracked every single purchase he made this week. He has been buying antidotes since his promotion. 5 days ago, he turned to toxins. He is in seclusion, desperately trying to balance venoms, but the rot is relentless. No pill can save a man that far gone. He is completely, utterly ruined. Bring him, Hua Han repeated. I looked at the chairman, the kingdom's greatest master. He was a tier 3 legend. He would not let fraud stain our honor. Gu Rong limped into the hall, skin like gray ash. He looked at me. Master Yun, he wheezed, a tier 1 alchemist and a commander, truly gifted. You are easily the strongest of the 5 guardians of this kingdom now. I felt a chill. I am just lucky, Gu Rong. Luck beats a slow death. Gu Rong and Kyo traded glares. Chairman, I was in the middle of seclusion. What brings the master here? Is he finally coming to congratulate Van Thuong's rise? I sneered at Kyo. Cut the act, Vin. You're supposed to be a corpse, yet your face looks disturbingly healthy, he hissed. Han slammed a file down. Q suspects you cheated during the last trial using forbidden soul wither stones. This is his evidence. Now, give the council a reason not to execute you, he demanded coldly. That snake had me followed. Luckily, young Master Yun purged the poison and taught me the soul forge. Without his intervention, I'd be dead in the dirt. My respect for that boy is truly infinite. Like the surging tides of the great river, my gratitude knows no end. I shredded the report. You're the fraud here, Q, I barked. Explain why you're so desperate to frame an innocent man. I thrust my hands forward, flawless and glowing. The crowd gasped. There was no trace of the rot. Q's jaw dropped. Impossible. How could you survive the soul wither's lethal touch? That toxin is absolute. I'll peel back your lies myself, he screamed, launching a psychic probe to shatter my mental walls. You think your weak mind can touch mine? I laughed, a predatory gleam in my eyes. I unleashed a tidal wave of soul force that crushed him into the marble floor with a sickening thud. How? How is your spirit this powerful? He wheezed, blood trickling from his trembling, broken lips. I'm a true master, Q. Real power can't be faked, I growled as his body began to wither. Before our eyes, his youth evaporated. He shriveled into a trembling husk of a man, gasping for air. Master, please, Q sobbed, his voice cracking. I'm old and broken. Just let me crawl home to die. He begged the guildmaster for retirement, his spirit completely shattered by the weight of my power. My counterstrike had stripped his rank. He was nothing now, hardly better than a common stable boy. He crawled away in shame. I smiled, realizing the soul forge technique was more lethal than I imagined. One lesson from young Master Yun had leveled a high-tier alchemist. Just who was that mysterious child? To possess such power. I'd serve him for 50 years, not just 50 days, and call it a bargain. Han turned to me, impressed. Your progress is frightening, Vin. Your soul force is rock solid for a rookie. Take the girl and get her certified, he ordered. I bowed deeply. As you wish, Guildmaster. Outside, Thuong pulled me aside. Master Vin, would you consider taking on a very special student? A student? I asked. She nodded. Brilliant mind, but his body is completely useless for physical combat. He's self-taught but has no path forward, she explained. I scoffed, wondering why a general cared so much. You're a legend in the God Guard, Thuong. Your rank is higher than mine. Why bring him to me? You're an alchemist yourself. Why not teach him? I pushed, but she shook her head solemnly. He's the Duke's grandson. My position makes a formal apprenticeship. Complicated. I need a neutral party. The Long General's boy? The famous martial failure? I laughed. A weak frame usually means a weak spirit. I've heard the rumors, though I've never met him. Physical frailty is a death sentence in this craft. Without a strong vessel, he'll never survive the furnace heat, I warned. But she wouldn't back down. He has something. Special, she pleaded. Just train him as a scribe, give the Duke some dignity. Consider it a favor to the crown, she added. I sighed, weighing the political weight of her request. Fine, I'll test him, but if his soul force is 0, he's out. I don't train ghosts. She thanked me, but I was already looking toward the horizon. The academy exams were calling. She thinks I'm the genius. She has no idea I'm just a student of the real master. 3 days later, Galam Academy was a storm of nerves for the annual year-end culling ceremony. The arena, built by the legendary Yang Dich, loomed over us. Today, dreams would either fly or die. Fail this test, and you're expelled. Every year, the gates are choked with the tears of losers. I stared at the statue of the old master. It's strange. Looking at my own face from 15 years ago, I've only opened 2 energy gates. A student whimpered nearby. I'm going to get kicked out for sure. Just hit 1 and you're safe, his friend hissed. Just don't be a joke like that, Li Yunxiao. He's the ultimate failure, they mocked. Snow grabbed my hand. Ignore the noise, she whispered softly. Trashy elites, Hanbok spat. They're just here for the circus, but my class was full of them. Dozens of rich kids just wasting time. At least 15 of them got expelled today. Master Lack is away, Wang Feng shouted. I'm running this exam. Listen up. Roll call is over. Late? You're out. And today, we're changing the rules. Usually you just need a pulse or a heavy hit, but too many of you are frauds. Cheating with pills is over. Now, you must pass both the energy flow and the power strike. He glared at me, Li Yunxiao. He knew I beat Lam Fai and wanted me gone. One more test to make sure I'd be kicked out for good. He was desperate. Lam Fai's crew circled me. Keep staring, I growled. I'll pluck your eyes out myself. They flinched. Eyes open. Idiots, I said, stepping up to the stone. Watch the master. I ignited the seafloor, then the sacral, solar, heart, and throat. Wang Feng's jaw hit the floor. Finally, the crown. 7 gates flared white-hot. The crowd went dead silent. 7? All of them? Someone gasped. Wasn't he the Academy's biggest joke? A total failure. Even a Tier 4 master said his veins were permanently fried. Wang was trembling. Everyone in the country knew my name as a punchline. He figured I used drugs or some brute force hack to take down Lam Fi. Watch this, I smirked. 1,000 pounds of force is just the warm-up. I lunged. One punch. The rock groaned, chain snapped, and a golden shockwave rocked the yard. I pulled back, my knuckles smoking. My fist was etched 3 inches deep into solid stone. No way, they whispered. He broke the heavy-duty restraints with a single hit. That's pro-level strength. Even a new warrior couldn't leave a mark that clean. My friends cheered like they'd won. Damn, Yun Xiao, you've been holding out on us. Wang stood frozen. How could Lam Fi lose to someone with this much raw power? Are we done here? I asked. I'm busy. I turned to walk away. Everyone knew Wang just got slapped in the face. It had to burn. Opening gates is just kindergarten stuff, Wang screamed, his face turning purple. I just laughed. But then, I stopped cold. A heavy shadow stepped into my path. Lam Huyen. Black gang leader, someone whispered. Wasn't he in deep meditation? Rumor said he hit the first tier. I just raised a middle finger. Move, dog. He masked his rage with a fake smile. I don't play with kids. I'm here for my brother. Ah, the puppy failed, so the big dog comes barking? I mocked him. Does your family have 0 class? He snarled, pointing a finger at me. I laughed in his face. Class? Our families have been at war for decades, you moron. Your brother is a cripple because he's weak. You want a lecture or a fight? You little rat, he hissed. I'll make you regret ever taking a breath. I clapped slowly. There he is, the real thug. Stop pretending to be noble. He tossed a challenge letter down. I won't waste words. This is your end. My brother was an idiot for getting caught, but I still have to handle this. I'll teach you a lesson you'll never forget. The crowd realized Lam Fi was the villain. Wang Feng was fuming. His nephew just admitted everything. Total disaster. 2 choices, Lam Huyen said. 1. Kneel and swear you'll never touch my family again. 2. I break you in a duel, then you crawl. Choose wisely. Pick the first one. It's easier. My friend Snow rushed over. This is too far. You want him to kneel in public? She cried. That's not a choice. That's murder. Snow raised her hand to stop him. Look, Huyen, you're a 9-star fighter, almost a master. After graduation, you're a lock for the Royal Guard. Bullying a trainee is pathetic. Where's your pride? Yun Xiao casually dug into his ear and spat. Your brother's a pervert who steals panties. How good can you be? Since when did your clan care? About honor? Hu Yin's eyes turned blood red. Coward. Hiding behind a girl? Is this really the Duke's grandson? The great general's boy? Ha! Yun Xiao didn't waste his breath. He just launched a glob of spit at him. Hu Yen ducked. Yun Xiao snatched the challenge, shredded it, and flashed a middle finger with a cold smirk. You're trash, but I accept. In 3 days, I'll have you groveling and licking the dirt off my boots. Snow rushed to block him. No, Yun Xiao, don't let your ego get you killed. You can't do this. Hanbok nodded. Don't be stupid, Yun Xiao thought. 15 years ago, this body was a total wreck, but having real friends beats my past life, ruling the world from a lonely peak. I'm not alone anymore. Yun Xiao patted her shoulder, smiling. Relax. His crew looked baffled. Hu Yen barked. You gave your word. No show in 3 days means you're finished at this academy. Yun Xiao just waved him off, walking away slowly. Don't sweat it. I won't wash my feet until then, Hu Yen screamed. I'm gonna cripple you for good. The blood feud between our families has lasted decades. I'll start by settling the score with you. Kids, before I uproot your entire clan. Later, at the Alchemist Guild, Yun Xiao's voice cut through the air. He watched Wu brewing. Keep your soul energy steady. You're losing the balance. Focus on the flow. Too much frost grass. Toss in a dust flower to stabilize it or this whole pot is going boom. Wu spun, frantic. What? Yun Xiao kept shouting. Purple smoke. Wu snapped. Shut up, you know nothing. 3, 2, 1. Everything blew up. Wu stood there, covered in soot and looking completely dazed. How'd you know it was the grass? Yun Xiao shrugged. I caught the scent. Go tell Gu Vin I'm here. Wu blinked. Scent? The master's in deep meditation. I don't have the rank to even talk to him. Jiao walked in. Failed again? Are you hurt? Wu sighed. I'm fine, but I've wasted a fortune on herbs. I'm a failure. Yung Xiao turned and flashed Jiao a charming grin. Well, hello there, Miss Lu Jiao. She gasped. It's you, Yun Xiao smirked. I'm flattered a gorgeous woman like you remembers my face. Jiao said, Master Liang was blown away by that prescription you left. Wu's jaw hit the floor in shock. The master loved it? You're an alchemist? Yun Xiao shrugged. I used to be. Not officially these days. He turned to Zhao. Take me to Vin, beautiful. She hesitated. He's isolating, but follow me. She patted Wu's hand. Don't give up. You'll get it. Wu shook his head, looking totally defeated. You've been paying my way for years. I'm a burden. I just don't have the gift for this. Zhao insisted. Stop it. You're the best. Yun Xiao cut in. Next time, use 3 fewer strands of coldweed. And if it's too pale, add 1 cloud drift sprig. Trust me. Wu looked at him, bewildered. Are you actually a master? Zhao beamed. Just listen to him. That formula he gave before was pure genius. Wu nodded. Okay, I'll try it. Yun Xiao and Zhao made their way toward Guvin's private room. Zhao whispered, We're here, then knocked. Guvin's voice roared, Leave me alone, no interruptions. Yun Xiao hollered, Vin, it's me, Yun. Open the door. Zhao gasped. You can't talk to him like that. Sudden footsteps thundered inside. The door flew open. Vin burst out, sobbing with joy, and grabbed Yun Xiao. Master Yun. Zhao froze in shock. Yun Xiao shoved the old man's face away. Get off of me. Miss Zhao, you're free to go. Thanks. She stood there, baffled. The arrogant Master Vin is acting like a total fanboy who just saw a miracle. Inside, they entered. Vin beamed with pure excitement. Master Yun, my soul power is fully restored. I even hit a major breakthrough. I actually made it. Yun Xiao groaned. I'm not here for small talk. I need you to brew some specific pills for me. Vin nodded frantically. Yes, sir. Whatever you want. Yun Xiao listed the items without a second thought. A surge pill and a blast pill. Vin hesitated. But those are both nearly rank 2 medicines. I just hit rank 1 as an alchemist. I don't think I can pull that off successfully. Yun Xiao smirked. I'm here. What are you fearing? Prep the ingredients. I'm on a tight clock. Vin's mind raced. Is Master Yun really going to tutor me personally? Is he actually an alchemist? How could he even have the supplies? Everything is ready. Yun Xiao said 1 set was enough, leaving Gurong stammering about why he'd brought 3. Gurong figured Yun Xiao was a fraud who didn't even grasp basic success margins. A novice usually hits 60% on basic stuff, but there is never a guarantee, especially with advanced pills. 3 batches felt like a gamble, but Yun Xiao didn't care. He barked at me to begin. We started, the small room filled only with his sharp commands. He treated me like a lapdog. Focus, balance the power, pure energy, you idiot. It fused. 2 perfect pills. I was a sobbing mess, finally breathing again. I held them, weeping. Genuine, high-grade power, 2 at once. It was unheard of. What just happened? It felt impossible. He just stared at the results in his hand. Gurong was desperate. Please, he thought, just keep insulting me if it means I learn more. He was lost in a dream of becoming a legend. Then, reality hit like a blade. Yun Xiao sneered at the quality. This trash? How did we even produce this junk? He called me a rookie and told me to rest while he fixed my mess. He claimed his current energy was enough for a quick refinement and got to work. Gurong watched him refine finished pills. He thought you could only refine raw ingredients. He had never seen hand seals like those. They were complex, ancient, and terrifyingly efficient. He finished quickly, sighing that his low energy held back the final quality. He needed those pills to hit the 1-element stage within 3 days. The second pill was a backup. He was not leaving anything to chance. 72 techniques. He did not just refine them, he made them flawless. I knew then, I would follow this man forever. Yun Xiao just walked out. He passed Lu Wu, who was bragging to the crowd. Lu Yao was glowing with pride. Yun Xiao did not stop. He needed to enter seclusion immediately. To beat a 9-star fighter like Lam Huyen, he had to hit that next stage. At the academy, the principal and Van Thuong were discussing the recent chaos. They talked about the shattered records and why Lam Fi was kicked out. Zhang Lishan found it amusing, watching the noble brats tear each other apart. But he was focused on Van Thuong, 21 and already a powerhouse. He planned to name her vice principal at the upcoming celebration. She was not listening. Her mind was stuck on the boy everyone called a loser. She could not believe a total washout was causing this much trouble. The principal urged her to focus on her rank as a guardian, but she stood up. I have to stop them, she said, ignoring everything else he had planned. She was convinced Yun Xiao was walking into a death trap against Lam Huyen. Suddenly, the principal was beside her, asking if the kid was really that weak. She warned him that Yun Xiao was dangerous, likely already reaching the 1-element level. She did not believe it herself. Even at that level, Lam Huyen was a monster. Ranked 3rd on the elite list, Lam Huyen was practically a master already. She owed him for her own promotion. She could not let him get slaughtered. The principal laughed, deciding to tag along to see the show. A top-tier fight involving a supposed nobody? This was getting interesting. In the training rooms, others were gossiping about the match. Lam Doa brushed it off. She had no time for a clown's execution. Compared to the real elites, she thought both of them were just playing games. Taking on weaklings proves nothing. Only Big Brother Lamb from White Phoenix is a true powerhouse in my eyes. Du Hoa Chin's blood was boiling. Fine, if you won't go, I'm going alone. I've been waiting to see that loser breathe his last. Landoa watched them go. She thought to herself how pathetic it was to lack the guts to fight Li Yunxiao, yet find satisfaction in watching others do the dirty work. People without a spine are just cowards. Suddenly, Landoa spotted someone walking straight toward the tenfold gravity zone. Landoa was stunned. Was that Li Yunxiao? Over at the Jia Lam Academy arena, Lam Huyan was already seated, waiting for his arrival. A crowd gathered, whispering about whether the kid would show. Skipping out is smart. Better to lose face than to lose your life. His friends arrived. Snow turned to Fatty Han and asked if Li Yunxiao was actually going to make an appearance. Hanbok sighed. He had no idea. The guy had been a ghost for days. He wondered if his friend had actually bolted. Tran Xiao cut in, saying that was impossible. If he ran, he wasn't fit to carry the Li name, let alone lead them. A real man dies on his knees. He doesn't live in shame. Snow snapped at him to stop the morbid talk and stay positive. The crowd erupted. Look, the loser actually showed up. Lam Huyan's eyes snapped open as the shouting reached a fever pitch. Everyone was buzzing. Li Yunxiao strolled in with a massive sword over his shoulder and a confident smirk plastered on his face. Lam Huyan's smile turned sinister. "You're a dead man," he muttered. The crowd was split between calling him a hero or a fool. Some said he was just doubling down on his own stupidity. Huyan was a peak 9-star warrior. This was going to be a massacre. He might not last one hit. Snow screamed at him. "You idiot! Why are you here? Lam Huyan is going to kill you." Tran Xiao was baffled, wondering what the hell Yunxiao was thinking. Suddenly, Van Thuong rushed forward, her face flushed with anger. "Get out of here!" she barked, pointing toward the exit. "I'm putting a stop to this. The duel is officially cancelled." The stands hissed. If he hid behind a teacher now, the Li family name would be dragged through the mud forever. He was already trash, so what was a little more shame? Van Thuong insisted she had to protect her student's life. Li Yunxiao looked at her and asked why she was so intent on protecting Lam Huyan from him. "Everyone, step back," he said coolly. "Crippling this guy won't take me more than a few seconds." Van Thuong was speechless. She wondered if the pressure of the match had finally caused the boy's mind to snap. She braced herself, ready to jump in at a moment's notice. She couldn't stand by and watch him get destroyed. Li Yunxiao stepped up to Lam Huyan and drove his sword into the ground. Huyan sneered, "I thought you'd chickened out." Li Yunxiao clenched his fists as a powerful golden aura flared. "You think talking will buy you more time on this earth?" Van Thuong gasped. The kid had actually broken through to the warrior rank. Just days ago, he couldn't even trigger a pulse. His energy channels had been completely dead. The crowd was in shock, unable to believe the transformation they were seeing. Was he really in the one-element realm? Du Huaqin turned pale as Lam Huyan stood up, his own aura surging. "No wonder my pathetic brother lost to you," Huyan said. "You've been hiding your strength, but your luck ends today." Huyan's power rolled off him in waves. The spectators felt the pressure and gasped at the sheer intensity of his strength. He was a peak 9-star warrior after all. At this rate, he'd be a master in less than a month. Everyone wondered how many hits Li Yunxiao could survive. Looking at their auras, the kid seemed destined to be crushed instantly. Vuong Fong hoped for an upset, but deep down, he knew that was just a pipe dream. Then, Principal Trung Li's son arrived. "One hit? I wouldn't be so sure about that," the principal said. The crowd immediately bowed in respect to the old master. He told them they were all underestimating the boy. He promised that this match was about to get very interesting. The faculty watched intensely as both fighters released their energy. The principal noticed something strange about Li Yunxiao's footwork. Something felt off. The air around Li Yunxiao seemed to warp and ripple with every calculated step he took. It was as if the space itself was vibrating, syncing up with the rhythmic heartbeat of the world following his lead. That footwork was a high-level secret art. He was forcing the environment into perfect harmony with his own movements. It was a display of masterclass technique. Van Thuong saw the principal's focus and realized the situation was more complex. Lam Huyan gathered his energy. "You're already struggling to walk under my pressure, and you still want to fight?" Huyan's aura seemed to swallow the boy whole. "Don't worry," he roared. "I won't kill you, I'll just make you kneel in shame." He planned to humiliate the entire Li family. He launched his star palm technique, sending a massive blast toward his opponent. The air screamed as the palm strike flew. Li Yunxiao reacted instantly, leaping high to dodge the incoming devastation. Lam Huyan's eyes widened in surprise. He hadn't expected the trash to move with such incredible speed and grace. "What? He blew right through my wind barrier. Thinking of running? Not a chance." Lan Xuan lunged, firing energy bursts. I triggered Shadow Shift, my speed hitting a whole new gear. I danced through his barrage effortlessly. "Impossible," he choked. "What kind of footwork is this?" Weightless and agile, I glided past the shocked gazes of Zhong Lishan and Yun Chang. "What?" The old man squinted. He realized every stride I took was perfectly linked to the last. My rhythm was flawless. I wasn't just dodging, I was completing a complex, lethal sequence. I soared upward, gathering a violent vortex of energy like a hurricane brewing in my palms. He's syncing with the world's pulse, Zhang Lishan stammered. The entire crowd was paralyzed with shock. Natural energy flooded me. He's channeling the heavens, the principal screamed. He's actually doing it. Spectral hands materialized around me. I twisted my wrists, weaving that cosmic energy into a weapon. The palms fused into 3 massive sigils that orbited me like cold, glowing moons. Lan Xuan stood frozen, awaiting his end. Life is a dream, I whispered. Crimson seal. The palm streaked forward like a meteor. The floating life seal? Zhang Lishan shrieked. Impossible. He knows I shouldn't be able to cast this. I'm bending the world to my will. My grasp of natural law is beyond his comprehension. He can't even see the path I'm on. Is he Yang Di's pupil? Yun Chang wondered. Is that truly the master's legendary signature move? No way. He's just a novice. What's his connection to a master like Yang Di? The giant energy hand slammed down like a falling mountain directly onto Lan Xuan's head. He took the full hit. Shredded and broken, he collapsed, staring blankly at the sky. He fell motionless. I landed, my entire frame trembling from the sheer drain of power. The crowd erupted. The useless heir of the Li family just ended him in a single shot. The top genius of the Blue Gang utterly dismantled. There was no suspense, just total defeat. I exhaled. This heaven channeling style only works on weaklings because the prep time is too long. How did he lose? They screamed. Lan Xuan was supposed to be the best. It was a massacre. A 9-star warrior was left broken and bleeding in the dirt. A 1-star versus a 9-star. The gap should have been an impossible lethal mountain. I stepped over him, raising my heel. I told you, the old man roars. Stop! No one's saving you, I told the broken boy. The principal thinks I've lost my mind. He lunged at me, screaming to stand down, but his authority means nothing to me now. My boot crushed his stomach. Blood sprayed. I watched the light die in his eyes. He's ruined, they shrieked. He just shattered the boy's cultivation core for good. A broken dantian is a life sentence of shame, unless a legendary level 7 drug appears. I didn't stop. I drove my second kick straight into his bloodied, open mouth. Li Yunxiao, Yun Chang screamed. His blood stained my boots as I leaned in close. I promised I'd make you lick my shoes. He's nothing but a hollow shell now. I'm a man of my word. I snatched his necklace, and I'm taking this too. The dean arrived, fuming. You're a monster. That was unnecessarily cruel and heartless. I kicked the body toward him. He swatted it away and glared at me with murder. He was defeated. Why the malice? I shrugged. It's a death match. Mind your business. He's speechless. The crowd can't believe I dare talk to the principal that way. Not even the king or the guildmaster would show such blatant disrespect to this man. His eyes bulged, then he burst into a dark laugh. Brat, do you know who I am? Zhang Lishan. Martial King. Took you 100 years to get there? I mocked him. If I were that slow and still bragging, I'd have killed myself out of shame. The crowd gasped. I'm insane. His aura exploded. You're asking for a painful death. Power erupted. Old fossil, I roared. Bullying a teen? Pathetic king. I'll return this pain 100-fold. I stood tall, defying him. My fighting spirit was blinding. An indomitable soul lived inside. Pressure crushed, yet I breathed. That familiar, haunting, stubborn look. He looked exactly like goo. Spat blood. I'll kill you. Swallowed the pill. Power exploded. The king's confidence died instantly. Bullying a child ruins reputations. Even a king fears shame. My aura became truly terrifying. I harnessed the sky's energy. The great gale? She whispered. No! Impossible! The king yelled. He sweat in my presence. That was the master's move. Eyes open. The world trembled. A strike that broke gods. A legend born of destruction. Stop! The old man cried. He saw my hidden ties. Hurting me meant his end. He backed down, saving face. I'll let this slide, liar, but don't be so heartless. He vanished in a blink. The crowd watched in shock. He never showed mercy before. Vent that energy! She screamed. I meditated, burning from within. She saw the divine rhythm. She sat, seeking my light, harvesting my chaotic, raw energy. Both of us entered trance. The stadium went dead silent. A golden light crowned her. Her internal barriers finally broke. I'm leveling up, she realized. His manual was pure divinity. I grinned, watching her wake. Nice promotion, Professor, I joked. So, you hit level 2 as a warrior already? I glanced at my teacher. You're a martial lord in the 4-phase realm. Climbing a tier for you is 100 times harder than it is for a rookie like me. Is a little progress really that shocking? Yun Chang didn't buy it. She lunged forward and twisted my ear, snapping, "Quit playing the fool with me! You just broke into the warrior rank a few days ago!" She sighed, convinced that hanging around this brat would eventually give her a heart attack. She leveled a stare at me. I was only in seclusion for 5 days. How did the entire world flip upside down while I was gone? I want the truth, right now. Ow, take it easy! I winced, trying to pull away. I'm still recovering from my injuries. You can't interrogate a wounded man like this, Professor. It's cruel. Give me 10 days or a couple of weeks to heal up, and I'll spill everything. Yunchang finally let go, her eyes narrowing as she processed my excuse. Fine, she grumbled. But you have 3 days, 72 hours. After that, get your butt to my office and start talking. I watched her walk away, a smirk playing on my lips. Asterisk. What a bossy woman. Zero logic. But her talent is incredible, definitely worth the investment. Asterisk. I headed back to the training hall and cranked the gravity chamber to 10 times normal. As I stepped in, I felt the crushing weight trying to buckle my knees. I needed to burn through the residual energy from that burst essence pill. As I walked through the campus later, the other students scrambled to get out of my way. They looked at me like I was a ghost. Lambdoa walked out of a practice room, frozen by the sudden, terrified silence that followed in my wake. I stepped into my booth while everyone else trembled. Asterisk, what the hell happened? Asterisk, Lambdoa wondered. Asterisk, this isn't Lam Huyen's usual style at all. Asterisk, the whispers started the second I passed. That kid's aura. I can't even get within 10 feet of him without my skin crawling. Tell me about it. He dropped Lam Huyen in one shot. That pressure he radiates is enough to crush a normal person's spirit. Forget the average Joes. I bet even the top 2 guys on the leaderboard, Bai Chengfeng and Lin Wu, wouldn't stand a chance against him. Get this word from the infirmary is that Lam Huyen's meridians are completely shredded. He's basically a walking vegetable now. Unless someone finds a level 5 soul pill, he's done for. Is that kid really that cold-blooded? That's terrifying. My source is the medical assistant. He's a level 1 healer, so he knows his stuff. Besides, he's basically family. He's my sister-in-law's brother, my neighbor's kid, and my cousin's brother-in-law. Trust me, the guy wouldn't lie to me. Li Yunxiao didn't even care that the dean was watching. He's a straight-up psycho, a stone-cold killer who doesn't respect authority. Keep your eyes open and stay out of his way. If you cross him, there's nobody in this city who can save you. Lambdoa stood there, her mind racing. Asterisk. 1 hit? He took out Lam Huyen in 1 hit? This kid is a peak level 2 monster. Asterisk. Inside the room, I punched a training dummy into splinters. The walls were spiderwebbed with cracks. My soul power was already back to level 1. Asterisk. The great Genesis mantra is legendary. Asterisk, I thought. Asterisk. Recovering my alchemist soul strength this fast is a miracle. I'm finally ready. Asterisk. I could finally start forging mystic weapons and brewing elixirs again. Feeling satisfied, I headed back to the dorms to call it a night. I reached for the door handle but stopped. A cold shiver ran down my spine. Something felt wrong. I turned to bolt. A hand shot out from the shadows, grabbing my collar. Going somewhere? Yunchang yelled, looking like a vengeful spirit in red. Did you think my orders were just a suggestion? It's been 5 days and you haven't shown your face once. I shrunk back, trying to look pathetic. I lost track of time while training. She narrowed her eyes, scanning me. Peak level 2? She gasped. You hit the ceiling of the 2nd tier in just 5 days? That's physically impossible. You know the side effects of popping random pills, Li Yunxiao. You've stumbled onto something big. Start talking right now. I realized there was no escape this time. She started firing off questions like a machine gun, making my head spin. How do you know Yang Di's secret seals? Where did you learn Gu Feiyang's signature palm technique? You were a nobody. You didn't even have your meridians open a week ago, and that move you used to suppress the pill energy. What was that? 5 days to hit peak level 2? And that lecture you gave on upgrading weapons? How could you possibly know all that? I scrambled for an answer. What did Dean Zhonglishan say about all this? He must have a theory, right? She looked confused for a second. The dean? He thinks you were secretly trained by Master Yang Di himself. He thinks he taught you everything. The forbidden techniques. The alchemy. He's convinced you're Yang Di's star pupil. Is he telling the truth? I nodded quickly, seizing the lifeline. The dean is a genius. He hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what happened. Blaming it on Yang Di was the perfect cover. Plus, I actually wanted to meet the guy and see if he'd dare call my bluff. Yun Chang laughed, but there was no humor in it. Nice try, but that's total garbage. Everyone else might buy it, but I don't. The Li family might be military heavyweights, but they've never even met Yang Di. There's zero connection there. And for your information, Yang Di doesn't even know the Great Cloud Palm, so how the hell did he teach it to you? I froze. Asterisk, crap. She's smarter than she looks. Asterisk. She sighed and let go of me, her expression turning somber. Fine. If you want to keep your secrets, keep them. I was actually worried about you, but clearly, I'm just wasting my breath. Van Thuong suddenly gripped Lee's wrist, dragging him toward the main thoroughfare. As they crossed the capital, she explained her plan to find him a master at the association. Lee waved her off, claiming his soul power was complete garbage, and he wasn't interested in being a student. She snapped, telling him it wasn't his choice and she had already made the arrangements. I gave my word, she hissed. Like it or not, you're meeting him today. Lee sighed, asking which supposed legend was actually willing to take him on. She barked that the man was the most promising alchemist in the guild and had been hard to convince. You'll see soon enough, she said as they stepped into the guild's grand hall. Gu Rong was lecturing a crowd of students when she pulled Lee through the doors. Master Gu, I've brought the eldest son of the Lee family as promised, she announced loudly. Lee winced at the sight of Gu Rong, who didn't even look up from the blackboard. Take him to the apprentices for a preliminary evaluation, the master replied dismissively. As she hauled Lee away, a girl named Lu Jiao suddenly blocked their path. It's you! My brother's alchemy success rate has peaked thanks to your advice, she cried. Lee shrugged her off, telling Lu Jiao that her brother just needed to stay the course. She beamed, explaining that her brother was now wealthy and currently in deep cultivation. I honestly don't know how I can ever repay you for that help, she added. Lee smirked, suggesting that she could always just offer herself as payment. Before the girl could even blush, Van Thuong delivered a sharp blow to Lee's head. Stop hitting on girls in a place like this, she screamed as Lu Jiao fled in tears. Lee groaned, being dragged by his hair while insisting the girl was the one pursuing him. Get tested now or pay the price, she yelled, ignoring the annoyed glares of nearby students. When told to take their drama elsewhere, she offered a quick, half-hearted apology. Gu Rong turned to see her manhandling Lee, and his jaw nearly hit the floor. A student offered to kick the troublemakers out, calling them complete idiots. Gu Rong shoved the student aside, rushing toward them like a bat out of hell. He barked at the class, praising Lee's incredible spirit for traveling so far to learn. None of you possess half the determination this young man has shown, he shouted. He turned to Lee with respect, leaving Van Thuong completely baffled by the sudden shift. You don't need to be so formal with this brat, she said, smacking Lee again. Gu Rong looked like he was about to have a heart attack seeing Lee get hit. When Lee gave a mockingly loud greeting, Gu Rong's knees nearly buckled under the pressure. She mentioned the soul test, but Gu Rong frantically waved his hands in refusal. Please excuse his lack of manners, she said, delivering another heavy blow to Lee's head. Gu Rong felt his soul leaving his body with every slap she landed on the boy. Suddenly, the master slapped his own face and dropped to his knees, begging her to stop. His talent is unmatched, he cried. There's absolutely no need for any test. The entire guild went silent as Gu Rong desperately agreed to take Lee on. Lee raised an eyebrow, questioning if the old man really had the guts to be his master. Gu Rong immediately backtracked, tears streaming down his face as he realized his mistake. Van Thuong was lost, asking why the great master was acting like a total lunatic. I'll do anything, the master sobbed. Just please, stop hitting that boy's head. As she stared at Lee in confusion, the sound of heavy boots and shouting filled the air. Make way! Soldiers yelled as the third-rank royal alchemist Zhang Qingfan made his entrance. Zhang scanned the chaotic room, while Van Thuong quickly offered a respectful bow. As the soldiers marched off, I sensed a massive soul force from that old man, definitely a master alchemist. Why would a legend like Zhang Qingfan show up personally? I wondered if the princess's condition had finally turned terminal. Is Ruo Shui dying? I asked. What exactly happened to her? My heart hammered against my ribs with growing dread. It is no secret, she sighed. The girl was born with defective meridians. She was never meant to see age 5. Back then, the king begged a 5th-tier alchemist king to save her. He could only offer a single, temporary prescription. He guaranteed 10 years of life. By my count, we are in year 9. Her time has almost run out. Defective meridians? Unless someone finds an 8-rank yang pill, common medicine is just a slow, expensive way to watch her die. An 8-rank pill? She gasped. Could that really work? But those are only found in legends and ancient myths. Only a legendary 8-rank sovereign could brew that, she whispered, her voice trembling with the weight of the impossible. A sovereign? Gu Vin muttered. At that level, you are basically talking about a god walking among us mortals. I turned to my teacher. Go on ahead. I need to discuss some private apprenticeship details with Master Gu Vin. Gu Vin caught my drift and ushered me away. Don't worry, teacher. If he wants to learn, I'll teach him. I will do exactly as he says. No need to worry about any trouble, he promised, looking strangely submissive. Fine, she said. I turned to Gu Vin. Find a quiet room. I have questions. He bowed like a servant. She watched us, baffled. Why was a powerful master like him acting like a lowly servant to a mere student? I patted his shoulder. Go tell Zhang Qingfan that you have found a way to cure the princess's defective meridians. Master, you cannot be serious, he stammered. That is an impossible task. I just gave him a cold, hard stare. Besides the pill, the golden needle technique works. My soul power is low, but I will fix her in stages. He looked like he had seen a ghost. The legendary golden needle? You actually know how to perform that art? Are you absolutely sure? I ignored him and started writing. Just tell them you are doing it. I will handle the rest. With your current skill level, did you really think I would let you touch her? Just stick to the plan. Fair point, he whispered. But when you start the procedure, could I watch? I just want to learn a little. Whatever. But we take this job. Once her current medicine fails, she is a dead woman walking. No more delays. I handed him the finished list. These are the materials for her treatment. Tell Zhang Qingfan to get everything ready. He grabbed the paper, his eyes shining. This was his chance to witness a miracle. Then he squinted at the list. Wait, why is this list so long? Half of these items look like they are for forging high-end weapons. I headed for the exit. I am short a few blades. Might as well let the palace foot the bill. He stood there, stunned. I walked into the city, my mind focused on the task. Precision was everything now. The needles must be perfect. Length, weight, and purity, every micro detail is critical for the stimulation to actually work. I need to find the raw materials and forge them myself. One minor mistake and the princess dies on my watch. Suddenly, I heard a desperate voice near the shop. It was Meng Wu, pleading with a greasy-looking apprentice. Sir, I only have 170 gold coins. Please, help me just this once. My brother is dying. Tuan Luang just sneered. 300 gold is the minimum. I'm not running a charity for the poor, girl, but if you were my girlfriend for a few months, I might be able to find a discount for you. She turned to walk away, her face pale with disgust. Not in a million years, she snapped over her shoulder. He grabbed her arm roughly. Wait, 3 months, that is all I ask. Don't you want to save your brother? She froze. He leaned in, his hands wandering where they didn't belong. I am going to be a master alchemist. You should be honored I am even looking at you. Sign the deal, and the spirit water is yours today. Give it to me, she sobbed. I will pay you every cent back within 3 months. I promise, on my life. He laughed. He won't last 3 months without this. Money means nothing to a dead man. But you're priceless. You're a soft, pretty thing. Why make this so difficult? He reached for her, his eyes filled with filthy intent. A sharp crack echoed as my fist met his face. He howled, clutching his bloody nose and reeling back. Who the hell are you? He screamed. I stepped between them, my shadow falling over the trembling girl. The man who is going to break you for touching my woman, I said. Fate is a strange, twisted thing. She looked up and gasped, recognizing me. I saw a flicker of hope behind her tears as she whispered my name. Clutching his side, Tuan Luang hissed through the pain. You think your people actually claim you? Don't make me laugh. Got any idea who you're messing with? You're dead meat, kid. Li Yunxiao just shrugged. Should I? You look like a nobody to me. Keep grinning while you can, he snarled. I'm a ranked apprentice at the guild. I've got real backing. Master Jia Rong himself trains me. Plus my blood brother is Long Hao, the commander's firstborn. He runs the entire capital guard. If you value your life, get on your knees and start begging. Give me a few hundred gold coins for my trouble, and I might let this slide. Li Yunxiao pulled out a heavy purse. I've heard of Jia Rong, and sure, I know the commander. But his kid? Completely unheard of. As for the money? Right here. Tuan Luang's eyes practically turned into dollar signs. Li Yunxiao tossed the bag onto the dirt, and the greed-driven fool lunged for it. Before his fingers even touched the leather, he caught the boy's chilling gaze. Better hope Lady Luck is on your side today, Li whispered. A shiver raced down his spine. Those weren't human eyes. Not even the grizzled veterans on the front lines carried that much death in their stare. He knew instinctively touch that gold, and he'd be a corpse. Behind them, Meng Wu stood frozen, paralyzed by the sheer pressure radiating from the boy. She regretted everything. Desperation for cash had led her to help Lam Fai set this trap, but Lam Fai was already gone, kicked out and disgraced. She couldn't erase the memory of that duel, the way he moved like a phantom, his strikes elegant yet devastating. It was otherworldly. She didn't know what true power looked like, but it surely started and ended with the man standing right there. Tuan Luang's head snapped toward a noise in the distance. Hao! Over here! Help me! He screamed, spotting his savior. Captain Long Hao of the Capital Guard halted his patrol and looked over. Tuan Luang pointed a shaking finger directly at Li Yunxiao. I don't give a damn who you are, Long Hao said, stepping forward. You've got 2 ways out of this, and neither is pretty. First, crawl to my friend, beg for mercy, leave the girl and the cash, then vanish. Or second, I break you and let you rot in a cell. You've got 3 seconds. Tick-tock. Tuan Luang smirked, finally snatching the gold from the ground. Told you I had friends in high places, the rat barked. Next time, learn to recognize your betters before you open your mouth. He didn't even see the movement. Li Yunxiao's boot connected with his stomach like a sledgehammer, sending him flying toward the guards. Hey, how? My center. It's gone, Tuan Luong wheezed, clutching his gut. He broke me. I'm a nobody now, completely crippled. You've got a death wish, kid, Long Hao roared. Li Yunxiao just smiled. I'll take option 2. Lead the way to the dungeon. I could use a vacation. Meng Wu gasped, stunned by his recklessness. Infuriated, Long Hao drew his blade and lunged with murderous intent. Rot in hell, Long Hao screamed. He knew if his friend stayed a cripple, he'd be the one facing his father's belt and the master's wrath. Meng Wu's eyes went wide, but the fury on Long Hao's face suddenly drained away, replaced by pure, unadulterated shock. This can't be happening, he stammered. Li Yunxiao had stopped the descending steel dead in its tracks with just 2 fingers. Her jaw hit the floor. He caught a heavy military blade with nothing but his fingertips. It defied every law of combat. Li gave him a pitying smirk. Long Hao realized then that he wasn't dealing with some arrogant kid, he was dealing with a monster. Try this on for size, he barked, channeling his energy. The crescent moon blade began to glow with a lethal, shimmering light. A wave of raw power sliced through the air. Li stepped back effortlessly. A mystic blade? Meng Wu whispered, her heart racing. Those were legendary tools, forged by master smiths and worth more than a small fortress. You couldn't just buy something like that. Forged from deep-sea frost iron, Long Hao bragged. Crafted by the legendary level 2 master, Luong Van Vu himself. You're only the 3rd soul to see this blade's true form. Consider it a privilege to have your blood on this steel. He charged again, swinging with everything he had. Li Yunxiao didn't even flinch. His expression remained bored. A piece of junk held by a loser, Li remarked, cracking his neck. He slipped past the strike like he was walking through a park. Long Hao was swinging at shadows. In a heartbeat, Li was inside his guard, closing the distance before the captain could react. Li flicked a finger, sending a bolt of pure energy forward. Long Hao barely managed to get his sword up to block the impact. With ice in his eyes, Li unleashed a barrage of strikes against the metal. Long Hao felt the vibration rattling his very bones. "What are you doing to my sword?" he shrieked. The glowing aura flickered and died as the weapon reverted to a dull, ordinary piece of iron. He swung like a madman, waiting for the power to return, but the blade remained cold and lifeless in his hands. "It's dead. My entire fortune. Gone," he whimpered. He'd spent years of savings and begged for favors just to own that single piece of gear. "Is that it?" Li asked, his voice dripping with boredom. "I was hoping for a challenge. Show me what else you've got." Driven to insanity by the loss, Long Hao turned to his men. "What are you waiting for? Cut him down. Kill him now." Li just sighed, shaking his head at the group charging him. "Just a bunch of bottom feeders," he muttered, readying himself. I moved like a blur, landing a heavy fist and a snap kick on every single goon. Watching them drop, Mongvu's jaw hit the floor. This wasn't a brawl. It was a rhythmic slaughter. "Meet the 100 Flowers faltering fist," I whispered, barely breaking a sweat as I struck. It's a legendary style born from a fallen emperor named Vien Si Tia. His existence was a chaotic mess, a tragic masterclass in rebellion. He was a brilliant failure, a madman who lived on the edge of insanity. Yet, his raw power and genius were absolutely unmatched. His gift was a curse to his enemies. The secret lies in the faltering rhythm. It's unpredictable, hitting precisely where they never look. The thugs scattered like dry leaves in a storm. I pinned Long Hao, snapping his wrist back while eyeing his wicked-looking blade. "A bit rusty, but this steel's worth a fortune," I sneered. "Got any other toys for me?" Before he could answer, I stomped down. His tibia snapped with a sickening crack. Long Hao collapsed, howling in agony. "My father is the Imperial Guard commander. You're dead. I'll slaughter your entire bloodline for this," he shrieked. I just tilted my head, unimpressed by his hollow, desperate threats of genocide. "Be my guest," I challenged. "Bring your best men to my doorstep. Let's see who ends up in the ground first." Suddenly, 2 riders approached. The state sentinels reined in their mounts, demanding to know who started the chaos. Long Hao wailed. "Captains, help! I'm a 3rd Battalion commander. This psycho attacked an officer of the crown," he begged, clutching his broken leg. "Arrest him! He's trying to murder a government official." Captain Hui Quang glared, his golden badge glinting. "Who dares defy the law?" Hui Min barked, drawing his weapon. "Drop that blade and surrender now. Put your hands up, kid." I stood my ground, unfazed. No questions, no trial, just siding with the loudest crybaby in the street. "How can you be sure I'm the villain?" I countered. Hu Quang roared. "The guard serves the emperor. We don't frame common street thugs." He sized me up, seeing only a 2-star novice. He couldn't fathom how a 3-star commander and his squad were dismantled so easily. Dismounting in a flash, Hu Kuang lunged at me. "If you won't submit quietly, I'll have to break you like the rest," he snarled. "Fine, let's play," I muttered. I gripped Long Hao's stolen saber, channeling my essence until the blade began to hum with lethal power. A searing arc of energy sliced toward Hai Kuang. His eyes widened. How could a mere two-star brat project such a terrifying blade aura? Hui Kuang countered with a frantic strike. Our energies collided in a deafening crack, the shockwave nearly knocking him off his feet as he landed. Panic flickered across his face. "A mystical weapon," he breathed. "No wonder you're so cocky. You're hiding behind a high-tier artifact, aren't you?" The stolen blade shimmered with an eerie light in my palm. Hui Kuang's expression shifted from shock to pure, unadulterated greed as he stared. "That steel is mine," he thought. He leveled his sword at me. "Too bad your little reign of terror ends here and now, kid." I surged forward. "End this? I'm just getting started." These guys were an entire rank above me. I couldn't afford to play defense. If I didn't seize the initiative immediately, their raw power advantage would flatten me like a bug. I had to strike first and fast. Hui Kuang drew his steel, screaming, "You want a grave? I'll dig it." We clashed, a whirlwind of sparks and steel at point-blank range. My speed was blinding. As our weapons collided, the sheer force of my momentum sent Hui Kuang reeling, his footing completely blown away. I vanished from his sight, executing a shadow step. I reappeared in his blind spot, launching a flaming kick fueled by pure demonic speed. My heel connected with his ribs. He crumbled, gasping for air. Seizing the opening, I leaped high, bringing the blade down like a guillotine. One solid hit to break his spirit. I had to keep him suppressed so he couldn't tap into his full cultivation potential. "Damn you!" he roared, rolling away. "You asked for this." He unsealed his own weapon, the diamond saber, which erupted in a blinding white light. Crimson and azure energies slammed into each other as we traded blows. The impact sent tremors through the ground, forcing Hui Kuang to stabilize himself. "What's happening? Why is my blade cracking?" he stammered. I didn't give him a second to breathe, pressing my advantage with relentless strikes. I lunged again, but Hui Min screamed a warning. He bolted from his horse, a streak of armor and steel coming to his partner's aid. Hui Min's blade whistled toward my spine, but it only cut through air. I was already gone, leaving nothing but a flickering shadow behind. "Idiots!" I shouted, appearing behind them. "I baited you both into the kill zone! Now, let's see you survive this!" Hui Min gasped. "You set a trap for both of us?" Hui Kuang's face paled. "You think you can take us both out at once?" He was terrified. A two-star kid shouldn't be hunting two veterans. Usually kids like me ran away. They didn't try to become executioners. For the first time, he felt the cold breath of death on his neck. "Enough games!" the brothers roared, bracing themselves for a final stand. They synced their auras, manifesting the Sentinel's wrath. A massive lance of pure light formed between them, aimed directly at my chest. I didn't see a tag team move coming. The energy arrow shredded through my defenses before I could even blink, closing the distance in nanoseconds. I threw up a desperate block, eyes slamming shut. My meticulous plan had just hit a brick wall. I'd miscalculated the price of their desperation. The blast hit me like a freight train. Crimson sprayed the air as my grip failed, the stolen saber clattering uselessly onto the cold stone. I skipped across the pavement, my body a broken mess. The crowd winced at the sound of my bones hitting the floor. It was brutal. I lay there, bleeding out in front of a stunned Mongvu. She couldn't believe I'd actually pushed two legendary sentinels to their absolute limit. He managed one last desperate strike, then shouted for me to run even as the impact sent him flying. What was happening? I bolted in a blind panic, my mind racing to find help. "Behind me," Long Hao roared. "She's escaping! Catch her now!" Long Hao spun around to find his men out cold on the pavement. Two elite guards stepped toward Li Yunxiao, eyes narrowed. They couldn't believe a mere two-star fighter forced them to use a combined strike. Even now, the shock was visible. Hui Kuang snatched Long Hao's blade without a word. The audacity of the move left the entire street in stunned silence. "That's my Azure Moonblade," Long Hao stammered. Hai Kuang mounted his horse, coolly stating, "We caught your prisoner, Captain. We're done." Long Hao stood frozen, jaw dropping in disbelief. Hui Min just waved a dismissive hand. "Don't bother seeing us out, Captain." Long Hao felt sick. He had spent a fortune on that sword, using every family connection just to get Master Liang to forge it. "My legendary blade!" he groaned, his voice breaking. Then, the sorrow vanished, replaced by a cold, murderous fury. "Get up, you useless pigs!" he screamed at his men. "Bring him in! He cost me my sword! I will make him regret being born!" Mangwu kept running, her heart hammering against her ribs. "I have to find someone. I have to save him." She finally reached the gates of the Li Manor, gasping for air. Relief flooded her chest like a cold drink on a hot day. He is the eldest son of the Li family. If they cannot save him, nobody can. He is going to be okay, she whispered. Inside, the steward Li Yi was admiring a spirit blade. Remarkable, he murmured. The power in this thing is terrifying, even sealed. A servant came rushing in, shattering the silence. Sir, there is trouble. Li Yi looked up, his expression instantly souring. A girl is at the gate, the servant panted. She says the guards took Master Li Yunxiao. She is begging for help. Li Yi scoffed, a sneer curling his lip. That useless brat? You mean the family embarrassment finally got himself arrested? The servant looked down, unsure what to say. Li Yi waved a dismissive hand, not even looking up from his sword. Tell her the old master is handling it and she can go. We are not wasting another second on that piece of trash. The servant delivered the lie with a straight face. Mang Wu looked up, desperate. When will they go get him? That is above my pay grade, the servant replied coldly. The old master said do not worry, so do not. Now, beat it. Mang Wu walked away, trying to feel relieved. Li Yunxiao's grandfather was Li Chunyang, a legendary titan of the military. He was a protector of the state, second only to the king. His name carried more weight than gold in this city. With the higher-ups ignoring the court, the entire kingdom was split between Li Chunyang and his rival, Lam Huang. If a man like that said do not worry, she should have been fine. So why did her gut feel so wrong? Li Yunxiao's eyes snapped open. The world was a blur of shadows and the sharp, metallic tang of blood. His body was a map of pain. His energy pathways were shredded, his limbs useless, and heavy iron shackles bit into his skin. He was in a hole, a dungeon filled with broken souls. An old man watched him from the corner. So, you are finally awake. Where am I? Li Yunxiao rasped. The old man gave a dry, hollow laugh. The Long family's private hell, kid. The guards said you took the young master's hands, the old man wheezed. I did not think you would survive the night. Li Yunxiao's brow furrowed. This is not the city prison? The old man spat on the cold stone floor. The city prison is for criminals. This place is for people the Longs just want to disappear. They own this hole. Li Yunxiao's eyes flared with a cold, quiet rage. A private dungeon? They have some nerve. I will make them regret this. Regret? Kid, you are never leaving, the old man hacked. I have been in this cell since I was your age. He pointed a trembling finger. I spat in the street in front of their house. That was 40 years ago. He gestured to another silent figure. He was 8 when he looked at their maid. They took him and his father both. He is 48 now. He has never seen the sun as an adult. Li Yunxiao's chest tightened. This was not just a prison. That maid is probably long dead by now. Do not lose hope, Li Yunxiao whispered. I am getting us all out of here. The old man just turned away. Dream on, kid. Just be grateful if the bread is not too moldy today. Li Yunxiao did not answer. He forced himself upright, his bones grinding as he began the ancient breathing pattern. The other prisoners watched, their eyes dull and hollow. Another dreamer, one muttered. He will break soon enough. But Li Yunxiao felt it, a tiny spark of heat in his gut, slowly crawling through his shattered energy channels. The tyrant body technique was the ultimate path to physical rebirth. It was his only way out of this darkness. Over at the Alchemist Guild, Gu Rong was trembling with fury. This is not a game. You are telling me he is just gone? Yun Cheng's voice was barely a whisper. I have checked everywhere. It is like he vanished off the face of the earth. With no one else in sight, Vin felt his blood run cold. He began to tremble violently as the gravity of the situation hit him. Van Thuong broke the silence, suggesting they replace the assistant immediately to ensure the acupuncture was performed correctly. We cannot afford any more delays. The princess's life is hanging by a thread. Hua Han chimed in, his voice tight with growing desperation. We have already tripled her daily dosage, yet her condition remains spiraling out of control. If we hesitate any longer, I fear the worst is inevitable. Princess Than Pham nodded grimly, agreeing that there was no room for error. She didn't care about the assistant's status, she only cared about a cure. I will step in as your assistant myself. How could some spoiled, wealthy playboy possibly grasp the intricacies of such a delicate procedure? If you want to play mentor, do it on your own time. We are out of minutes. Guvin's face turned a ghostly shade of white as he realized his deception was failing. He collapsed to his knees, sobbing hysterically as he prepared to confess the terrifying truth. He recounted every detail of his scheme through his tears. Upon hearing the confession, Hua Han and Than Pham exploded in a fit of rage. You have some nerve, Vin, gambling with royalty's life like this. Hua Han sneered, unable to believe Vin's stupidity. You actually let a useless trust fund brat play you? You believed a teenager could actually master the art of vital pressure points? You are an absolute fool, Than Pham barked in order to have the master dragged to the dungeon. He ordered Vin to be executed the moment the crisis passed. Vin crawled forward, clutching at their robes while begging them to trust the young master. He insisted the boy was their only hope. Than Pham delivered a brutal kick to Vin's face, sending him tumbling backward as he roared in fury. Do you have any idea how grave your crimes are? If you hadn't lied about knowing those specialized acupuncture techniques, I would have appealed to the High Alchemist Guild for help long ago. Now, the medicine is failing to stabilize her wounds entirely. It is far too late to seek outside help now. You deserve 1,000 deaths for this. How am I supposed to answer to the king? Van Thuong raised a hand to intervene. Wait, Master Than Pham. The man turned on her, his eyes blazing with pure resentment. What now? This disaster is on your hands too. Li Yunxiao is your student, isn't he? You will answer for his failures as well. Van Thuong stood her ground. Sir, my recent promotion to Master Alchemist only happened because of Yunxiao's brilliant indirect guidance. Than Pham scoffed, dismissing it as a fluke. Don't tell me you actually believe a child understands the complexities of the human nervous system? Van Thuong replied that while she couldn't vouch for his medical expertise, his performance in the recent school duel was nothing short of miraculous. He defeated Master Tai Tuong's top grandson, Lam Huyen, with a single, effortless strike. Than Pham's expression shifted from anger to shock. So what? Hua Han interjected, clearly skeptical. That is impossible. Isn't that boy a total write-off with ruined meridians who can't cultivate? Wasn't Lam Huyen considered the most gifted student in the entire Jia Lam Academy? Van Thuong confirmed that the rumors were wrong. Not only are his energy channels wide open, but he also mastered a legendary martial art known as the Seal of Floating Life. Than Pham gasped in disbelief. The Seal of Floating Life? Unless he is a direct disciple of the great Yang Di. I cannot confirm his lineage, Van Thuong admitted. Than Pham began to pace, realizing that if he was Yang Di's protege, he might actually save them. Hua Han recalled that Luan Van Vu had described Yunxiao's body as a complete wreck with no hope for a future in martial arts. Yet now he is crushing elite students with forbidden techniques. This changes everything. Than Pham's eyes sharpened with a new sense of urgency. Mobilize every resource we have, he commanded. I don't care if you have to dig 6 feet under, find Li Yunxiao this instant. Meanwhile, at a local tavern near the academy, Lam Doa and Du Hua Qin were passing the time with a few drinks. Seriously, Lam Doa, the entire school is buzzing about that legendary fight. It is a real shame you weren't there to witness it yourself. I doubt even the top-ranked fighters could stand against him now. Lam Doa slammed her glass onto the table, her patience finally snapping. Check, please. Look, senior, I have told you 1,000 times that I have zero interest in your gossip or your stories. And stop following me around. I am currently stuck at a cultivation bottleneck and need to begin my seclusion immediately. Goodbye. She turned and walked away without looking back. Hoa Chin's face twisted with a bitter rage as he slammed his fist into the wood. Who does that brat think she is? She has been played by every guy in school, yet she acts like she is too good for me. I have been chasing her for months and she won't even let me touch her hand. Pathetic. A waitress named Mong Vu approached him with a smile. Good evening, sir. Would you like to try our special purple romance cocktail? It might be just the thing to improve your mood. Hoa Chin squinted at her through a drunken haze. Wait. I recognize you. You are one of the freshmen, aren't you? I never forget a pretty face from the lower classes. You're Mong Vu. I'm Du Hua Qin, and I'm about to become a full warrior. He reached out and grabbed her hand firmly. What's a girl like you doing slinging cheap booze? It's a total waste of your talent. Mong Vu remained professional and asked if he wanted a glass. The purple romance is only $6 a pour, senior. He laughed mockingly. $6 for a taste of love? What a joke. He reached up to stroke her face with a predatory grin. You're way too beautiful for this dump, Mong Vu. Be my girl. I'll give you a fixed allowance of $100 every month. Mong Vu shoved his hand away, her eyes turning cold. Have some self-respect, senior. Hoa Chin gaped at her in stunned silence. Hoa Chin lunges, clutching the girl's face while snarling that a lowly barmaid shouldn't dare refuse his advances tonight. He demands her submission as Han Bok and Tran Chao enter, discussing their failed search over a few stiff drinks. They spent the entire day hunting for Master Van without finding a single clue regarding his current status. Surveying the unnatural silence, Han Bok wonders if they wandered into the wrong tavern by mistake this evening. Tran Chao spots the girl who framed their friend, while Han Bok labels her a clingy shadow to La Lam. Sensing they are weaker, Hoa Chin barks a command for them to vanish within 3 short breaths. Han Bok mocks his arrogance, asking if he truly doesn't recognize them while demanding news on Master Van's location. He warns the bully that bothering Master Van's girl is a fast track to a very early, painful grave. Realizing they are Li Van Xiao's associates, Hoa Chin freezes as Tran Chao traps him with a heavy, threatening arm. He warns the coward that being off campus means they can summon a mob to erase him from existence instantly. Hoa Chin trembles, remembering these men are heirs to the kingdom's most powerful and ruthless military commanders. In the capital, these wealthy brats are untouchable and capable of committing any atrocity without facing legal consequences. He feigns interest in his training, claiming he has no time for drama before trying to leave. Denying any connection to the girl, he insists they can't blame him and rushes out to find safety. Han Bok scoffs, noting the coward only escaped because their primary enforcers were still out searching for Van. Tran Chao tells him to ignore the trash and asks if he fears something fatal happened to Van. With the Alchemist Guild and Royal Guards searching everywhere, even an ant should have been found by now. Tran Chao admits the boy has changed so much lately that he barely recognizes his old friend anymore. Mong Vu timidly interrupts, asking if the missing person they are searching for is actually named Li Van Xiao. Tran Chao slams the table, screaming that she is the one who framed the young master with her lies. Stuttering in fear, she wonders why the family hasn't rescued him since 3 days have passed since his arrest. Han Bok bellows for her to talk, and the terrified girl recounts the entire nightmare to the shocked men. Enraged, Tran Chao strikes the table, demanding to know why she kept this vital secret for so long. She claims she informed the Li Manor, where a high-ranking servant told her to just mind her own business. Realizing she never saw the Duke, Tran Chao bolts for the door, sensing they are out of time. Han Bok stops him, insisting they recruit Master Trong and Teacher Lack to force the royal guards to cooperate. Their combined influence could make the elite palace soldiers stand down and surrender the prisoner without a fight. Tran Chao agrees as Han Bok orders the girl to come along, since her involvement is far from over. At the Long Manor, the younger son, Long Thien, focuses on his martial arts under his father's watchful eyes. The general praises his progress, noting he is far more disciplined than his useless, lazy older brother. Long Thien humbly points out that his brother is already a 3-star warrior, leaving a massive gap to close. Noticing his father's grim expression, the boy asks what heavy burden is weighing on the Royal Guard commander. The general sighs, explaining they have been searching fruitlessly for a high-profile youth for 3 full days. The pressure of the failed manhunt is suffocating him, even though he barely understands why the boy matters. He mentions the target is the Duke's grandson, then asks where the elder brother has run off to. Long Thien reveals his brother is in the dungeon, torturing a kid who supposedly broke his hands recently. Hao went down there to make the prisoner suffer until he regretted the very moment he was born. The general groans, calling his eldest son a pathetic waste for being crippled by a nobody in public. Long Thien suddenly remembers his brother brought in a young man 3 days ago, matching the description perfectly. He mentions the prisoner's name was Van, and the general's heart stops as cold dread washes over him. The general tries to dismiss the coincidence until his son clarifies the full name of the boy downstairs. Long Thien confirms the name is Li Van Xiao, and the general feels his world collapse into ash. He mobilized every soldier to search while the boy was rotting in his own basement for 72 hours. He realizes his son kidnapped the Duke's grandson and a legendary general's son, sparking a political apocalypse. The boy's words hit like thunder as the general realizes his son likely already killed the vital prisoner. A sudden commotion rattled the estate. Guards scrambled, shouting that intruders had breached the perimeter. "Who dares trespass?" I roared, my voice echoing through the courtyard like thunder. My students looked on with awe. My mere shout sent ripples of fear through the air. Their pride shattered when a soldier's cry cut through the tension. Commander Lack had arrived. "By order of Master Than Pham, we're seizing this estate. Resist, and you'll be branded a traitor." It happened too fast. Armed men swarmed the grounds, pinning us down before we could react. These weren't ordinary guards. They were elite warriors. My heart sank as I saw the commander. I masked my panic with a pathetic bow. "Masters, what is the meaning of this intrusion?" Than Pham gave me a cold look. "The boy you kidnapped is hidden somewhere inside these walls. For 3 days, the capital was in an uproar. Who would have thought he was right here?" Fear gripped me. My son had done something reckless, something that would ruin us both. I wanted to throttle the boy myself. Then, they brought forward the witness to testify. She recounted every detail, the harassment, the struggle, and the moment my son took him. She left nothing out. Every bruise, every scream, every act of cowardice was laid bare. "You heard the girl," Than Pham said. "We're taking over. If I'm wrong, I'll pay the price." "But we're not wrong," the general added. "We have the proof. Don't make this harder." I was cornered. There was no way out but to play along and hope for mercy. Master Vin watched in silence, regret washing over him like a cold tide. He had taken in a student on a whim, never imagining the chaos the boy would cause. It was a lapse in judgment that now threatened to burn everything he'd built. "Tell me one thing," the commander barked. "Is the prisoner still drawing breath?" "I have no idea," I stammered. "My son acted alone. Let me lead you to him." Deep in the dungeon, I felt my shattered meridians pulsing. I was close to a breakthrough. But time was a luxury I didn't have. Footsteps echoed down the hall too soon. The door creaked open. My tormentors walked in, their faces twisted with petty malice. "I'm going to make you wish you'd never been born." One of them sneered, sitting comfortably. They dragged me to the pillar. I counted 5 men, 2 warriors, and 1 high-level master. My energy was still depleted. Fighting my way out was a suicide mission. I had to wait. "Wake him up," the leader ordered. "I want him to feel every drop of this venom." They prepared a cocktail of salt and toxins designed to turn every scratch into a nightmare. "Don't die on me yet," he hissed. Then he stopped, his eyes widening in confusion. My skin was unblemished. I looked up and smirked. "Who are you again? Some nobody?" Infuriated, he drove his fist into my gut. "Let's see if that mouth still works after this." Blood sprayed across his face. I just laughed, the metallic tang filling my senses. "I remember now," I wheezed. "You're the stray dog who lost his favorite toy." "Kill him!" he screamed. "I want him dead, now!" His friend held him back. "Not yet. Death is too easy for a cockroach like this." He regained his composure, a sick grin returning. "You're right. Let's give him the family special. 100 lashes," he decreed. "Make sure he feels every single one before he goes." I braced myself. The punch had hurt, but something strange was happening inside me. The impact hadn't just broken bone, it had sparked a fire in my core, feeding my power. It was the tyrant's art. Every blow I took was being converted into pure, raw energy. I remembered my duel with the Emperor. We fought for days, leveling entire cities in our wake. I lost that fight because his body was a fortress that thrived on conflict. Now, the irony hit me. Their torture wasn't killing me, it was making me a god. I finally realized that his physical frame could tank my internal energy with such ease while simultaneously feeding off the force of my blows. He was recycling my own momentum to bolster himself. How could such a twisted technique even exist? This dominant physique body tempering. Scripture is easily on par with the great Genesis art. However, despite its ability to soak up an opponent's kinetic force, the user must endure a direct hit to internalize and process that energy. Once you reach the 9 Heavens Emperor realm, who would be insane enough to stand still and take a punch from a martial sovereign? Not even a god would risk having their body detonated. It seemed invincible at first, but now the glaring weakness of this style is terrifyingly clear. While I was lost in thought, a guard's whip cracked across my chest, tearing through my skin with focused, sadistic malice. My body was a roadmap of agony, yet I smiled. To me, this low-level torture was just high-quality nutrition for my core. The goon barked, "Weren't you supposed to be tough? Let's see how much more of this you can swallow," before lashing out again. I gritted my teeth, shouting for the cowards to hit harder to jumpstart my energy. The masked man whispered, "This kid. His resolve is frightening. He hasn't made a single sound despite the blood." Tuan Lung laughed, "A tough nut to crack. Makes the game more fun. If he begged or died too soon, all my preparation would have been a total waste of time." I calculated every strike. Just 20 or 30 more lashes and I would finally force my way into the 3-star rank. Suddenly, Long Hao signaled a halt. "I underestimated you, but don't worry, the real entertainment is just beginning." He leaned in with a sick grin. "I've got a little something to make you feel very friendly." I laughed internally. I was already at the peak of 2-star. I could break these chains whenever I wanted, but my shell was still battered. Plus, a second-rank master was lurking nearby. I decided to wait and see what twisted trick they had up their sleeves. Tuan Luang produced a vial. My personal masterpiece. Even a eunuch would turn into a wild beast after one whiff of this. He tossed the powder at 2 guards. Their eyes glazed over instantly as they began clawing at each other in a primal trance. They locked together in a grotesque embrace. Tuan Lung chuckled. "It brings the dead back to life." I felt a chill. This was psychological warfare. Long Hao looked disgusted and waved his hand. "Enough testing. Force the rest on him." Tuan Lung approached me, shaking the vial. "They only got a dusting. This entire batch is reserved just for you." This was spiraling out of control. Just as nausea hit me, my internal energy surged and snapped. I finally hit 3-star. Damn, what a way to level up. I didn't care about the method. I just focused on the explosive power in my veins. I shattered the iron bindings and lunged at Tuan Lung. "Rot in hell, you freak!" The powder exploded over the entire group. Long Hao scrambled back, screaming for an antidote. Tuan Lung just stared blankly, foaming at the mouth in a daze. "No cure, brother. Just lean into the madness," he whimpered. Long Hao kicked him squarely in the teeth. "To hell with your madness!" He turned to the shadowed figure. "Ma Ba, kill this brat right now!" The old man shed his cloak, his eyes burning with intent. But I was already mid-air, closing the gap in a heartbeat. He ripped his shirt off, revealing a physique of pure muscle. A mere boy thinks he can challenge a lion like me? I activated the lunar soul gaze. Our eyes locked, and for a split second, the old master froze like a statue. I channeled every ounce of energy into a single fist. The impact sent him crashing through the stone floor like a meteor. He coughed up blood, stunned. Soul arts? He didn't finish before the drugged guards began swarming over him like hungry wolves. Long Hao, lost to the drug's heat, joined the fray. I covered my nose and bolted for the exit as the moans began. I triggered my storage ring, pulling out fresh robes to regain some dignity. I had to get back to the Alchemist Guild. Tun Nutuit's condition wouldn't wait. I kicked the heavy cellar door open and stepped into the blinding afternoon sun. I blinked as a crowd of familiar faces stared back at me. Master Trun, Turhan, what are you all doing here? Trenshan rushed forward. Are you hurt? I shook my head casually. I'm fine. Why wouldn't I be? A chorus of rhythmic, disturbing grunts echoed from the dungeon behind me. Trun Shan's face twisted in sheer horror. How can you say you're fine with that noise? He tried to push past me. I put a hand on his chest to stop him. Long Hao's father looked relieved. I was alive but confused. Than Pham sensed a shift in my aura, something powerful. So you're the famous Li Van Tieo, she whispered, looking toward the cellar. What exactly is happening down there? Trenshan peeked inside and immediately doubled over, dry heaving. He sprinted away before losing his lunch on the grass. Hanbach frowned. What's the big deal? I shrugged. Long Hao is just bonding with his men. Best not to interrupt. Against my warning, Hanbach and the other elders moved closer, curiosity leading them straight toward the nightmare. Curiosity got the better of them, but one look inside had everyone sprinting for the yard, doubling over and losing their lunch. Told you so. I warned you that Long Howding has some seriously twisted hobbies that regular people just can't stomach. Look on the bright side, a good heave is probably great for your digestion. General Long turned to me, demanding an explanation. Your son dragged me here without saying a single word. Honestly, I should be the one asking what the hell is going on. The general looked me over, puzzled. On paper, I was just a 3-star warrior, yet he couldn't shake a sense of impending danger. He felt like he was facing an unpredictable monster, unsure if he could even survive a real fight against me. He tried to convince himself it was just the nausea messing with his head. He trembled as he spoke, trying to find his voice. The situation with my son is still a mess, yet here you are, standing perfectly fine while he is. Well, like that. Gurong couldn't help but chime in, muttering something about the apple not falling far from the tree. Watch your mouth. I am the commander of the Imperial Guard and a 3-star Great Martial Master. I would never stoop so low. Zhang Qingfan cut him off, noting that everyone in the room was a respected warrior. Then he turned his focus toward me. So, you're the famous Li Yunxiao? I shot back, asking if he was the one and only Zhang Qingfan. We have the president of the Alchemist Guild and the commander of the guards here. Between them, it's either the king or Zhang Qingfan. Or maybe Xiao Qingwang. It wasn't exactly a hard riddle to solve. Zhang admitted that I was far sharper than the rumors suggested. He asked if I really knew the art of pressure point needlework. I told him there was only one way to find out. The princess is royalty. Her life is priceless. We can't just let some kid go poking around with needles on a whim. Fine, don't let me try. But tell me, do any of you actually have a better plan? The room went dead silent. Zhang finally gave in. If you save her, you'll have a permanent get-out-of-jail-free card in this kingdom, no matter what you do. But if she dies, not even your grandfather, Li Chunyang, will be able to shield you from the consequences. You're dead. My life has always been in my own hands, and that's exactly where it's staying. Zhang's expression soured at my confidence. Gurong jumped in to break the tension, ushering everyone toward the princess's chambers since time was running out. I caught Meng Wu's eye and told her that since she'd gotten me into this mess, she was going to help me get out. I needed a solid assistant for this procedure. She tried to back out, claiming she didn't know the first thing about medicine. You're doing it whether you like it or not. I told Zhang I'd need her and Lady Yun Chang, and he'd be footing the bill. Zhang agreed instantly, stating that everyone would follow my lead and do exactly as I commanded during the procedure. Yun Chang smiled to herself. This legendary needle technique was something only high-tier alchemists could dream of mastering. No alchemist would miss a chance to see this. Gurong tried to buddy up to me, asking if he could be my assistant instead. I shut him down immediately, reminding him that the idiot Liang Jun was his disciple. Gurong turned pale, realizing he'd messed up. He stood there like a ghost as we walked away, desperately trying to distance himself from his own student. I kicked that kid out of my sect ages ago. Mentally, anyway. I stopped caring about what he did a long time ago. I'm serious, I don't even know the guy, don't leave me here. But I didn't look back as we headed for the basement. We reached the 4th floor of the guild, entering a specialized ice chamber where the air was bone-chillingly cold. Princess Ru Shui lay unconscious on a bed of ice. Zhang explained that this purple jade bed was the only thing keeping her alive, but even the bed's power was reaching its limit. I sighed, knowing my current soul power was frustratingly low. If I had realized sooner that she suffered from the 5 yin absolute pulse, we wouldn't have had to wait this long. Yun Chang was skeptical. All I asked for was some cloth and 30 gold needles. She wondered if I was actually serious. Zhang pressed me for a real answer. What are the odds? 2%? 3? If it's that low, I have to tell the king. Everyone looked at me with worry, knowing that if I failed, I'd be saying a permanent goodbye to the princess in my life. Look, if she were a man, I'd be 100% certain. But since she's a girl, things get a bit more complicated. I have to work behind a curtain from 15 meters away to maintain her modesty. That adds a layer of difficulty. Plus, I'm still a bit nauseous from Long's little display earlier. So, let's say I'm about 90% sure of success. Zhang's jaw dropped. You're going to perform precision needlework from 15 meters away just to avoid looking at her? He couldn't believe it. 90% from that distance? Even my master said this technique requires tier 5 soul power. Without that level of mastery, it's impossible to pull off. Yun Chang smacked me upside the head, losing her temper. Who do you think you are? The legendary Yang Di? You've got some nerve claiming you can pull off a miracle like that. I am 100% certain about the remote technique, but the princess is critical. Could you just take me seriously for once? I sighed. I am being serious. If the girl is in that much danger, stop playing the clown. He clapped his hands and gave the signal. Let's start. Teacher, draw the screen. Moo, you just support her. Fan rushed over and ripped the fabric away. Shoving it back, he barked, "Screw the screen! Face her! A royal life is worth a fortune. This isn't some game for you." I snatched it back, snapping. Because she is priceless, the screen stays. To save her, she has to be completely undressed. If I see her like that, and the king orders me to marry her just to save face, I am the one who is screwed. You are trying to trap me, aren't you? I am not falling for it. I turned away. Fan's head spun. To him, I was treating a national emergency like a playground joke. He wondered if I was just mocking him. Is he really just pulling my leg? I pushed the spectators away. The energy is peaking. Keep stalling. And she is a corpse. Once it settles, her life force vanishes. Even a level 9 grandmaster could not save her then. Moo, teacher stay. Everyone else, out. Everything is ready, I said. Moo, get her undressed. Teacher, get that screen up right now. Enough jokes, kid, she snapped. The fallout of this failure is more than you can handle. Just be serious for once. I snapped my fingers, sending needles into the air. With a flick, I warned, Teacher, I am aiming for your gate point. Ready? The needle hit home perfectly. She froze, stunned. Not a single millimeter off? My silk is gold-threaded. That is impossible to control. How did he even know I had gold lining? I had spotted the glint on her neck earlier. It is the trend, right? Plus 3 layers of clothes. We are 6 meters apart, so I used 30% power. Any questions? Blushing, she yelled. Shut it and get to work! My needles were already circling me like a swarm. Let's go. Honestly, I have to do this blind. If I see that girl naked, I will never be able to focus. She might be young, but she is already, well, developed. Inside, the teacher sighed. Just ignore him. Let's begin. Ready? I asked. 5 needles hissed through the air, finding their mark instantly. The precision was terrifying. Outside, the tension was thick. Is he just a loose cannon? Han asked nervously. Fan sighed. At this point, we are already committed to the mess. We just have to follow through. Vin was pale as a ghost, thinking his life was over. Suddenly, the door creaked open. I stepped out, stretching my neck. Fan exploded. What happened? Why haven't you started? She is running out of time. It is done, I said flatly. Han gasped. Done? Already? You are kidding me. Yeah, finished. The room went silent. A few minutes? It felt like a sick joke to everyone. Vin thought, that is it. I am dead. We are all dead. Fan raised a fist, ready to strike. You have some nerve. Gambling with her life? I do not care who your grandfather is. You are dead today. Suddenly, the teacher ran out. Master Fan, she is cured. The princess is actually fine now. Everyone froze. Cured? Are you messing with us too? Han rushed inside the room. It was true. A decade-long curse, broken in minutes by a teenager. They were speechless. Vin wept with relief. His neck was safe. Fan could only give a hollow laugh. That fast? You are kidding. I snapped. You have got to be kidding me. It was 18 needles. I could have stabbed you 18 times in that time. I pointed right at his face. How long did you want it to take? You have been a court doctor so long your brain is mush. The silence was deafening. Did he just call the head physician an idiot? The kid was suicidal. Vin's face went white again. Please, do not drag me into your grave with that mouth. Fan stood there, stunned. Nobody had talked to him like that in years. He was not even angry, just shaken. You are calling me an idiot? He whispered softly. Isn't it obvious? I replied without blinking. He just nodded. I guess it is. Everyone looked at him in disbelief. Did he seriously just take that insult from a brat? The kid was out of his mind. Vin's face stayed pale. Don't involve me in this mess, I beg you. Fan was frozen for seconds. He hadn't been called stupid in decades. It felt strange. Instead of burning with rage, he felt a weird sense of vulnerability. It actually hurt his pride. He asked quietly, "You really think I'm an idiot?" I just looked at him. "Isn't it obvious?" He simply nodded. "Yeah." Van Thuong demanded apologies. I ignored the fraud. She apologized for me. The master admitted truth. He stayed for observation. She signaled 2 guards. Why the sudden transformation? Mastery shouldn't be overnight. She suspected my act. The guards were clueless. I became a stranger. Is family tragedy driving? Was I masking strength? Danger lurks in shadows. Civil war is imminent. Leadat stole power. Father is stuck abroad. He seized total control. Grandfather was illegally caged. Elders remain suspicious now. I found secret leverage. My needles prove everything. The kingdom will shatter. We stand with him. Soldiers hate the traitor. They await my command. Her loyalty was torn. Queen's guard or teacher? Someone's talking about me. Save my dying brother. My luck with women. Take 1,000 gold. She refused the money. Pay for nursing assistance. Your presence kept focus, professional. She accepted the truth. We reached the slums. Brutal 4-hour walk. Poverty forced them out. Hero father died fighting. 3 years since death. Living on meager scraps. Meet my brother, Mong. He's turned toxic green. Sick for 5 months. I was doing anything for a buck back then, which is why I helped Lam Fai betray Li Yuntiao. The past is dead. Let's focus on him. The magic I tried to use on the kid. It just evaporated. Li Yuntiao was stunned. Meng Wu was shaking, sobbing about all the failed healers. They were all frauds. We've been using resurrection water to keep him breathing, but it's not enough. The medicine is failing. I'm terrified, she cried, collapsing into Li Yuntiao's arms in a heap. Every day is a haunting. He brushed her hair back. Relax. I'm here. He's not dying today. Is that the truth? What's actually killing him? He sighed. It's the sovereign toxin physique. That sounds like a curse. Can you fix it? He looked away. You don't fix a man's soul. You said he wouldn't die. Please, I'm begging you. You have to save my little brother. I'll do anything you ask. Anything. Just bring him back to me. He gently pushed her off. Stop right there. Don't go tempting me to do something I'll regret. She just kept pleading. Stop the crying. This isn't a bug in the system. You can't cure who someone is at their core. It's like asking me to change his gender. She looked lost. If it's not a sickness, then why? Look, some people are just born different. The world is full of outliers who defy the rules. People with these special constitutions manifest things that would terrify a normal person. This poison body is exactly that, she asked. So how do we fix it? There has to be a way. It's a waste of breath. I told you it's not a disease. He is the poison. The issue is his strength. He's too weak to act as a vessel for that much raw power. He can't hold it back, so it's melting him. He started driving needles into the boy's skin. I've seen this in the old texts. The first step is just stopping the internal leak. If he just grinds and levels up his core, all these problems vanish. But damn, this toxin is heavy. Inky sludge climbs the silver needles. I press my palm to his brow, and the steel tips launch like bullets. The blood and soul venoms are fusing. His sister panics as the traditional pressure points fail to respond. I shove him upright. I'm drawing the rod into myself. I growl. I'll survive it. He won't. I trigger the primordial breath. The swirling darkness leaps from the needles directly into my own veins. The girl's eyes widen in horror. You'll die, she screams. I just scoff. He's barely unlocked 5 gates. A fledgling. This isn't a death sentence for me. It is a 5-course meal for my cultivation. She watches, frozen, as the ink-black veins crawl up my arm and paint my face in shadow. The boy's deathly pallor finally lifts. The darkness is choosing a new, much stronger host, me. Tears hit the floor. I grin through the burning. Corrode me? I am the architect of my own soul. She looks at me like I'm a saint. Since her father died, every helper just wanted her beauty. But here I am, risking it all for nothing. To her, I'm a warm light in a cold world. The boy is clean. I pull the venom deep into my gut, locking it down with sheer will. She's sobbing with relief now. I can feel the ancient energy buzzing under my skin. Jackpot. Pure primordial power. Delicious. The kid groans, his eyes fluttering open to a world he almost left. She lunges for him, a mess of tears. You're back. You're finally back. He looks at me, dazed. That's Master Li, she says. He's the reason you're still breathing. Bow. He rolls out of bed, trembling, and hits the floor. Thank you, Master, for my life. I stare him down. Too weak, I mutter. There wasn't even enough poison for a decent appetizer. You're a natural-born toxin hive. We need to brew more, make it richer. He looks terrified. He laughs nervously, looking for a joke. But my face stays stone cold and serious. I don't do comedy, kid. You're the luckiest brat alive. Now, 3 bows. Don't stop. Wait, You're taking me as an apprentice? Xiao asked, stunned. Me? Your master? Ha! You actually want me as a mentor, Yun? Look at your age. You're barely older than my sister, maybe a year ahead of me, and you want to mentor me? Please. If I bow to anyone, it'll be the Divine Guard's Grandmaster. Yun Xiao seethed, thinking, in my past life, one flick of my wrist and this power could obliterate an army, Bai muttered. I'm grateful for the cure, but Wu cut him off, slamming his head down. Shut up and bow to your master. Master Yun is a once-in-a-century genius. Being his disciple is a massive blessing for us. Sister, you're my own blood, Bai cried. Don't ruin me, Wu snapped back immediately. Ruin you? I'm doing this for your future. Her eyes welled up with frustrated tears. Fine, don't cry. I'll do it, Bai sighed. Master, please accept my formal salute. You're skeptical now, but I'm handing you a supreme physical technique. The Overlord Mantra. It's perfect for your constitution. Master this, and your potential will become truly limitless. Bai's response was a total buzzkill. Thanks, but can't you just teach me Tiger Strike? I fumed. He wanted a basic playground move over the world's greatest physical art? Wu smacked him. Listen to your teacher. You don't get to choose, you brat. You have to start with the basics. Master the Overlord Mantra before asking for more. If you make Master Yun happy, maybe he'll show you the real secrets later. I sighed at their shared ignorance. I don't even know that trashy Tiger Strike. You're learning the Overlord Mantra because it's the only way to suppress your internal toxins. It stops the poison? Bai asked, intrigued. There are 18 distinct forms in this art. I'll teach you the first 3. By dusk, his agonizing screams echoed through the mountains. Remember these 3. Practice them day and night. Hard work is your only path now. Once you reach the first-tier warrior rank, I'll find a technique for your talent. Bai perked up. Really? What else do you know? It better beat Tiger Strike. I snapped a branch in rage. Never mention that amateur bottom-tier trash to me again. That's beginner garbage. Trust my plan. For now, you must fortify your physical core. That's how you'll evolve the poison. By the way, where'd this rock pile come from? Uncle Shi and I found them. When the poison flared up, I just dropped them. They looked worthless, so we left them. I sifted through, sensing a strange, bottled energy. This wasn't ordinary ore. I cracked the shell, revealing a gem that shimmered with power. Where exactly did you find these? I demanded. Is there a mine nearby? An old mountain mine outside town. It's restricted, but we scavenged these from the perimeter. These are purple sunstones. 5 rank materials, perfect for crafting high-level energy arrays. If I'm right, the elite Jolin Academy is built entirely from this very material. For gravity arrays? Bai's eyes widened. Does that mean they're actually worth a fortune? Exactly. Kingdom-level training rooms are rare because these stones are almost impossible to buy. Only world-class masters can build gravity chambers. This piece is crude, but it's huge. I could create a 3-meter gravity field with this. Bai looked at it with pure greed. Jackpot. Wait, Master, you wouldn't steal from your own student, would you? It vanished. This is useless to you now, I said. I'm just keeping it safe for your future. It's like your savings account. Now get back to training those 3 forms immediately. Once the toxins peak, I'll extract them. To me, Bai was a walking health tonic. I headed home humming. What a haul, a legendary poison-bodied disciple and rare ore. With his raw talent, he rivals my best previous students. Now, I need better gear. Finding that stone was pure luck. It's time to visit the Alchemist Guild for refinement. At the guild, Fan stood before Han with a drawn blade. Find Yun Xiao, now. Meanwhile, I strolled inside and found Jiao. I need to borrow an amplification array. She looked terrified. Master Truong and President Hua have been scouring the city for you. I'm just here to use the guild's enhancement array. Master Zhang and the president both promised they would help me find. What's the emergency? Did the princess crash? No, that's impossible. Lu Jiao urged me to just face the music. This way, sir. I sighed. I needed their help, so I played along with this little charade for now. Right here. She looked at me weirdly. Most people would be trembling with joy to meet these 2 legends. Grandmaster Zhang, President Hua, he's here. She bowed and vanished. I didn't wait for an invite to enter. I marched up and claimed the head seat. What do you want? They stared, their jaws hitting the floor. They handed over a royal invite, a party for the new master, and the princess's recovery. 5 guests allowed. Is that it? I asked. They laughed. We want to know. Are you Yang Di's secret protege or not? No, I snapped. They blinked. Then how do you know the rebirth seal, the golden needle technique? I stood up to leave. They were fuming. Nobody treats them like this. But Hua Han stopped my exit. Hold on, Yun. We have gifts. A token of gratitude for saving the girl's life. Take a look. I popped the lid. A rank 2 badge? Hua Han nodded. Your skill is legendary, but my authority is limited. Go to the capital for rank 3. It's a start. I nodded. The monthly pay isn't half bad. Thanks. I tucked it away. There's more, he said, pointing. Don't bother, I replied. It's a sword. I can feel it. What do you think? They asked. I needed their secrets, so I sucked it up. It's all right, I guess. But it's a mess of mistakes. For a third-tier smith, you're trying, but it's fundamentally flawed and weak. They were insulted. A mess? This is a treasure. I sighed. You used fourth-tier metal for this blade. You think expensive equals better, but you can't handle that energy. You just hammered it into submission. It's brittle, unbalanced. A lower-tier metal worked properly would cut this in half. It's just fancy scrap. Their faces went pale. They'd never seen it that way. And your forge? I continued. Total amateur hour. You used beast flame on water iron. You literally burned the soul out of the material. It's dead weight. What did you expect? A miracle? Zhang stared at his masterpiece. Suddenly, it looked like a rusted nail. It was his pride and joy. Now, it was just a pile of garbage. He felt like a total failure. They looked at me differently now. In this backwater kingdom, no one had ever spoken such hard truth. A new world of craft opened before them. Master Yun, teach us. How do we make it perfect? I'm busy making my own gear. I'll use your lab. Pay attention. You might actually learn something today. They stood there, chanting my words like a prayer. Gu Rong was literally in tears of pure gratitude. I've called every student here to witness your brilliance, he sobbed. We were fools. Please, show us the truth. Stop. That weapon is a total failure. Even at rank 3, it's inferior to a basic blade forged from simple materials. High-grade steel is powerful, but it demands too much from the wielder and shatters easily. It's a liability, not an asset. Fan's jaw dropped. He'd never even considered that. He'd only ever focused on boosting the rank and quality of the steel. Yun Xiao continued, and your choice of true fire is wrong. Hotter isn't always better. Master Zhang, you're using beast fire, right? Specifically, fire elemental beast heat. That's gutting the weapon's innate water affinity. You're fighting the metal, not molding it. That makes the tempering process nearly impossible. You can't just force every step. With a build like this, what do you expect it to actually do, besides look like a high-rank blade? Fan stared at his sword, his pride and joy suddenly looking like a total disaster. It wasn't a masterwork anymore. It was just a pile of glorified scrap metal. Han and Fan looked at Yun Xiao, speechless. Han thought, in all my years in this kingdom, no one has ever schooled us like this. I've lived a lifetime, yet I feel like a novice standing before a new, brilliant path of alchemy, one far beyond our reach. I never imagined that at my age, I would witness a forging technique that makes our entire history look like child's play. A path to greatness has been laid out before us, hiding secrets of an even higher craft. Why are they calling us now? Fan finally asked, Master Yun Xiao, how do we actually forge something of true quality then? Yun Xiao just waved him off. I'm busy making my own gear right now. If you want to learn, watch closely while I work. Use my forge time to observe. How much you actually pick up today is entirely up to you. Those words echoed in their heads. How much you learn depends on you. They were stunned by the rare opportunity. Gu Vin wept, thanking the young master. I've learned my lesson from last time. I won't fail you again, master. I brought all my students here to watch. They've been punished and are in seclusion to focus entirely on their training. One mistake means permanent exile. I walked toward the glowing forge. This array is impressive. This craft won't be a walk in the park. Hua Han credited Yang Di's genius. I demanded my materials now. Gu Rong confirmed everything was ready, despite his obvious confusion. These weren't standard pill supplies. I told him I had a student to train, forging weapons and pills simultaneously. The array made it possible. They stood there frozen. I snapped at them to stop wasting time. Gu Rong offered to handle the pills so I could focus on the steel. I barked at him. Did he really want to miss a masterclass? He handed them over. Hua Han doubted anyone could multitask this way. Dual refining was unheard of. I told them to watch and learn. They weren't just hearing a legend, they were seeing one. Cheng Fan scoffed. He thought I was just some arrogant brat. He expected a massive failure to finally teach me some humility. I tested the furnace. It was go time. One punch popped the lid. I sent the materials flying into the heat with a flick. I dumped everything into one flame to save myself the headache. Gu Rong was horrified. Refining two things at once? Pure madness. Cheng Fan felt like an idiot for following a child's lead. He questioned his sanity. Was he too old to think straight anymore? Why was a 100-year-old man playing games with a teenager? Hua Han felt the walls closing in. His reputation was on the line. He'd been blinded by my medical skill. Now he felt like a fool. He'd given me a rank 2 badge. He felt like a total failure. Just a lucky rich kid playing at being a master. If word got out, they'd be the laughingstock of the kingdom. I moved like lightning, activating the ancient seals with every jump. The fire surged. The energy was palpable. Han was speechless. The forge eye was live. He couldn't believe his eyes. Only a portion of the array was active. They thought I was weak. They assumed I was failing. They didn't understand true efficiency. This fire was stronger than anything they'd ever produced. Shut up and watch. This formation has 44 base layers. It's built for infinite variety and precise control. Activating everything at once is a waste of pure mental energy. Efficiency is key. I'm doing 12 things at once right now. 108 variations from 12 bases. That's real power. They were stunned. It was a masterclass in impossible alchemy. Cheng Fan shook with awe. He was seeing the future. A new path was opening before them, and I was the guide. Focus is everything. That's why the array is the soul of refinement. A true smith must first be a master of the mystic circles. Yang Di was a giant among men. Gu Rong was breathless. How could I talk while doing something so incredibly difficult? I told him I wasn't talking for my own benefit. Think you're too slow to keep up? Fine. Mouth shut, eyes open. Just watch and learn. Vin went silent. Pham and Han's stares were pure poison. Yun Xiao's focus remained razor-sharp on the Pham 7. His rhythm was hypnotic. Every strike was a masterclass in violence and grace that left them breathless. Who knew forging could be high art? Keep the core flame steady, Yun Xiao muttered. That's the secret. We're in the soul-binding phase. Watch the steel yield. Pham gasped. Pure origin iron? Impossible. A true master starts with the basics. You have to feel the grain of the metal first. Even scrap becomes a godslayer if you know how to strip it to its absolute essence. He crushed a sunstone into the mix, letting the shards bleed into the glowing, molten core. Vin squinted through the steam. I'm blind! Han barked. Don't use your eyes, use your soul! Power surged, knitting the elements. Now! Yun Xiao roared. The blade materialized, spiraling down to bite the earth. A shimmering relic stood before them. They approached the blade as if it were a holy ghost. He struck the furnace. The lid hissed open as the flames spiraled into a cold, dark void. It was over. Yun Xiao slumped, drained. Vin scrambled over, shoving a vial at him. Drink this, boss! He sniffed the brew and tossed it. Trash. I wouldn't even feed this swill to a mule. You expect me to swallow that? Vin wailed. That's a 1,000 gold tonic you just trashed. Pham stepped up, offering his own stash. Master, mine is much cleaner than his junk. Han pushed them aside. Take mine, essence fruits, soul-mending herbs, or the white crane elixir. Yun Xiao paused. White crane? Isn't that for bedroom stamina? Han turned bright red. It's for the elders, Han stammered. Pham frowned. Which elder exactly? Yun Xiao just popped a pill. He sat cross-legged. The rest is garbage. 5 minutes of silence beats your cheap medicine any day, Vin whispered nervously. Boss, you did just swallow a performance enhancer. You feeling all right? Pham snapped at him to be quiet. They watched him, still reeling from the miracle they'd witnessed. It felt like a fever dream. Their reality had been shattered by a boy with a hammer. He exhaled, eyes snapping open. Drained. That took more out of me than I expected, Vin gaped. You've recovered 1/3 of your power already? That's impossible. Relax. Being a low-rank novice has its perks. Recharging is a breeze compared to you old-timers. Bull, Vin muttered. I'm the same rank, and it takes me a full 7 days to bounce back. Don't compare my genius to your incompetence. We aren't even playing the same game. He weighed the steel in his hand. Decent work. Exactly what I had in mind. Well, masters, give me your verdict. Pham bowed. Please, just call me Pham. I'm no master here. They reached out, their senses bleeding into the metal. Well? Yun Xiao asked. Speak up. Pham trembled. It's flawless. Like the earth itself birthed it. I can feel the raw power humming. I've never seen metal this alive. Its pure essence, stripped of every single imperfection. Is this its true form, Master? Can it evolve further? What happens when it breaks its limits? I locked the energy into the core. It's stable now, so don't expect a mid-fight transformation. But you saw the sunstone, didn't you? Han's eyes widened. Wait, gravity manipulation? Exactly. I wove a twin gravity matrix into the blade while the metal was still screaming. Watch. The air around the blade started to buckle and groan under its own weight. Pham gasped as the floor cracked. 10 times the normal weight. How? That's just the first stage, 10 times gravity leaking out of the blade. There's a second layer stacked on top. Combined, they hit with 100 times the normal weight. If I had more sunstone, I would have tripled it. 1,000-fold pull is the true goal. But let's be real, this steel couldn't handle that kind of pressure. It would just disintegrate. The moment that third seal broke, the blade and likely the wielder would cease to exist. Pham and Han just stood there, staring at the weapon with a look of absolute terror. Their jaws hit the floor. A triple-sealed blade still capable of 3 more surges? That power is unheard of. Master, May we analyze this for a few days? Let 3 bottom feeders poke at my steel, then what do I carry? Your pathetic toy sword? Their faces turned a sickly shade of gray. I felt like a fool for bragging earlier. Nobody can know I made it. Gurong watched them squirm with a smug grin and crossed arms. One day, you will realize that his insults are actually a rare privilege. This is a training tool. It subjects me to 10 times normal gravity. Massive weight fuels rapid growth. A heavy blade needs no sharpened edge. I am calling her Blackie. The name alone nearly gave them a stroke. Master, what does that name have to do with the blade? Absolutely nothing. I call it whatever I want. Shut up, you waste of space. Gurong backed off. I moved toward the forge to check the batch. Hours had passed, yet the medicinal aroma remained sharp and invigorating. Inside sat 2 flawless orbs and several fragments. They leaned in, stunned. The purity is staggering. Gurong beamed, proud to even be my shadow. Fine. Thanks for the workspace. I will settle your debts of ignorance now. 30 minutes. Ask anything. Martial arts, inscriptions, or complex arrays. I will even teach you how to flirt. I tucked the pills away. Their eyes lit up like children. Are you actually serious? These 2 were local celebrities, but I was once a god of craft. Emperors begged for my guidance. These men were barely beginners to me. Tutoring them was like letting a child copy a doctoral thesis. Time is up. They bowed low. Thank you, Grandmaster, for lighting our dark paths. I waved them off. I am out. Maybe I will teach you more later. What do you make of him? The old man asked his companion. He is a bottomless ocean. I once studied under the great Yang Di. This boy feels exactly like that legend, perhaps even more terrifying. If he were Yang Di's student, he would never deny his lineage. Then he is something else, something far deeper than any known legend. I arrived at the girl's house. She was stumbling through the door. Master, what are you doing here? She looked at my face and froze. What happened? You look dangerous. Where is the boy? He went to the mines with the neighbor as soon as he woke. Suddenly, the boy burst in, covered in soot and grinning ear to ear. Master, sister, look, I found a fortune in raw ore today. I did not speak. I just stepped forward and backhanded him. Get on your knees. The boy spat blood, his eyes burning with rage. Why did you hit me? Because I am the teacher you ignored. Did you practice your forms? Or did you spend the day digging dirt? I need to provide. My sister should not have to suffer alone. The girl begged him to stop, but he screamed at me. Apologize? You are not a teacher. You just bully people and teach garbage. Kneel! I snapped. A flick of my wrist sent energy through his leg. Crimson sprayed the floor. He collapsed, clutching his wound in agony. He erupted in a blind fury, screaming that it was unfair since I was barely 1 year older than him. Surpassing me would take him only 12 months, he claimed, daring me to end him if I had the guts. I looked at the pathetic brat and spat. You're a disgrace. If you want death, I will gladly provide it. His sister, Vu, rushed between us, terrified because she knew I wasn't the type to make empty threats. She lashed out at him. Have you lost your mind? I didn't raise you to be this ungrateful. Apologize now. Before he could respond, a neighbor named Dai Gwen, a seasoned warrior, barged in to see what the chaos was. The boy cried out for help immediately. Nguyen looked at the siblings, demanding to know what was going on. Vu pointed at me, claiming I had forced her brother into an apprenticeship and was now threatening his life. Nguyen sized me up, noting I was a 3-star warrior. He saw my talent but hated my blatant arrogance. I didn't back down. And who are you supposed to be? I don't remember asking for your input here. He flared up, rolling his sleeves. You arrogant pup, you're barely a man, yet you're playing master? It is time. Someone taught you a lesson. Vu tried to stop him, yelling that her brother was just talking nonsense. But the boy doubled down. I'm not lying. If I have to learn, it should be from a pro. Nguyen grinned. Fine. I'll take you on. Once you hit warrior rank, we will start a mercenary squad. We will make 100 times what you earn in those mines. The kid's eyes lit up with greed. You be the boss. I'll be second. Teach me the tiger fist. Nguyen laughed, feeling like a hero. I will show you the diamond strike and iron palm too. But first, let me handle this strange brat. Vu grabbed his arm, her voice trembling. She knew that even as a 5-star fighter, he stood no chance. He brushed her off, telling her to relax. I am just going to rough him up a little bit. I stood my ground, my voice like ice. I won't move, dodge, or even strike back against you. 35. I won't even tap into my internal energy. If you can leave a single scratch on me today, I will drop to my knees and lick your boots clean. Their jaws hit the floor at my audacity. Infuriated, Nguyen lunged. You little punk, you have no idea how small you really are. Stand still then. Even a legendary emperor couldn't tank my iron palm without defending. Taste the power of my strike. I didn't flinch. I simply released a crushing wave of killing intent, my eyes locking onto his soul. As I whispered the forbidden binding art, his momentum vanished and he began coughing up thick, dark blood. The siblings screamed in horror as Nguyen collapsed. "Kneel," I commanded, and he fell as if possessed. He was broken at my feet. "Get over here and start cleaning my boots," I said coldly. The boy was frantic, begging his hero to get up and use his special moves to crush me. As Nguyen crawled toward me, I delivered a brutal kick to his face. "You aren't even worthy of this." The boy watched, paralyzed, as his idol was sent flying across the room and knocked out instantly. He couldn't believe his eyes. A powerhouse like Nguyen had been treated like a stray dog. I turned my gaze to the kid. "You were so eager for death earlier. It is your turn now." Vu threw herself at my feet, sobbing. "Master, please! He is just a foolish child who knows nothing." I sighed, looking at his raw potential. "Forget it. I have no interest in training such pathetic trash." I turned to leave, but a desperate scream stopped me. The boy was trembling, dropping to his knees. He crawled toward me, ignoring his sister, and grabbed my robe with shaking, bloodied hands. "Don't go! Please, teach me your ways." "I was wrong, Master. I finally see the truth now." "I don't waste time on failures," I replied. He began slamming his head against the floor in desperation. He begged for mercy, and his sister joined in, promising he would never step foot in the mines again. He will stay home and focus entirely on his cultivation, but the boy cut her off with a shout. "I'll still provide for us, but I'll master everything you teach me. I won't fail you again." "One chance," I said. "Open 7 energy gates and reach first-tier warrior status in 5 days. If you fail, stay out of my sight forever." He went silent. Vu gasped. 5 days? That is impossible! The boy's eyes were finally lit with a fierce, burning resolve. He gritted his teeth and accepted. I gave the boy 5 days. A deadline to prove his worth. "I'll return then," I said, heading to the local hotel. I holed up nearby, pushing my gravity training to 10%. Meanwhile, the Alchemist Guild was spiraling. Their leaders, Shu Han and Zhang Qingfan, had suddenly vanished into total, deep seclusion. The city buzzed with rumors about their mysterious, high-stakes disappearance. 5 days later, I emerged, now a 4-star martial artist. I heard screams at the house. "Stop! You're killing yourself." "Just a little more," he gasped, poison veins bulging out. "You'll die," she cried. "Then I'll die a warrior," he spat. He surged, energy exploding. He was now a rank 1 warrior. "I did it, sis," he cheered, despite his blackened, toxic skin. "Look at yourself. I'm finding Master Yun. Only he can help." I appeared instantly. "Still making a mess? Let's get to work." "Master, I did it!" he shouted. I just shoved him down. "Sit," I commanded. "Time to drain that filth from your veins." I channeled my energy, pulling the black rot from his body. He exhaled. "The pain is gone, but I still feel strong." "That's the heavenly poison body," I explained. "The toxin is fuel. The deadlier the poison, the more power you will eventually wield. But right now, your weak body can't handle the raw heat. As you level up, you'll master the source, not just survive. Once you find balance, you'll weaponize that rot against every enemy. At your rank, you will be completely and utterly invincible." "Master, are there others with strange powers like mine out there?" "The world is full of monsters. Keep walking, you'll find them." "So the poison is actually a good thing?" he asked, surprised. "Of course. Why else would I be taking it for myself?" He realized I'd been scavenging his leftovers. I handed him pills. "These will hold the rot back for 3 days at a time, but the only real cure is to keep rising in rank." I handed the sister a pill. "Take this. Stop being weak." "A UN charging pill? This costs 5,000 gold pieces." I stayed silent. My past creations were worth 10 million stones. Uncle La walked in. "Mining today?" He froze when he saw me. "Uncle, look! I'm a warrior!" the kid bragged. The man trembled. "He's a monster," the man whispered. I beckoned him over coldly. "Don't hurt him, master," the boy pleaded. I ignored the child. "Your name?" I asked. "Just Uncle Le," he stammered, shaking. I glared. "No one is my elder. Real name. Now. Or die." Le die, Nguyen," he shrieked, nearly collapsing in fear. I let him go. "What's the word on the city streets?" He swallowed hard. "The State Duke's mansion. It's been seized. Everything is under lockdown," he whispered. "The world is changing." I narrowed my eyes. The game was finally getting interesting. "I sent Nguyen deep undercover to bleed our family's secret mining operation dry tonight. Infiltrate them," I whispered. "Find those purple sunstones. 500 gold pieces each." 500? Bach gasped. Nguyen just smirked. "The miners are all my old crew anyway. If those stones exist, I'll find them." Nguyen vowed before vanishing into the shadows. He left, grinning. I turned to the others. "Clean up. We're crashing a palace gala. The palace? They stammered. I didn't answer, dragging them straight to the high-end tailors. While Vu obsessed over silk and Bach tried on lipstick, I felt the walls closing. Urgent business, I lied, backing away. I'll meet you at the palace gates at sunset. I bolted. No business, just a craving for street food and the sweet taste of freedom. Suddenly, a masked shadow whispered my name and sprinted toward the city's dark underbelly. Lame, I muttered, flicking my empty bamboo skewer like a deadly, precision-guided missile. The wood curved through the crowd. The stranger realized too late he couldn't outrun me. It tore through his palm. He gasped, more shocked by the sugary scent than the blood. I lunged, pinning his shoulder. His internal power instantly locked behind an iron wall. Bystanders gaped as I dragged him away. He couldn't believe a failure like me was this strong. I shoved him into a filthy alleyway. Talk! Who are you and who sent you? He groaned, yanking the wood out. I just wanted to lure you away, young master. He pulled off his mask. It's me, Li Hien, from the Duke's personal guard, sir. Hien? Why aren't you with my uncle? I growled. This better be life or death. The rumors, he stammered, crushing a 9-star warrior in one hit, saving the dying princess. He looked at me with pure terror. You've been playing us all for fools, haven't you? Get to the point, I snapped. Your uncle knows you're heading to the palace tonight. I turned to leave. If he's lecturing me, I'm gone. Wait, it's about Li Yi. He's watching you. If you show up tonight, Li Yi will strike to kill, master. The fourth master begs you to stay away. Don't start a war you can't finish. I laughed. Li Yi? He's a glorified house pet who was lucky to get our name. If he stays in his cage, fine. If he barks at me, I'll bury him. Hien trembled. Don't be reckless. He's powerful and he's not working alone, sir. He's already seized control of the family while you were playing the spoiled brat. Your father is paralyzed with worry for the old master. That's why he hasn't moved. Just lay low. Once we're ready, we'll wipe these traitors out in one clean sweep. You're all playing checkers while the world burns. I scoffed. I know his real boss. It's not some secret cult. The king is the one pulling the strings here. How else could a nobody lead? The throne wants our family divided and weak. Hien went pale. He'd only just heard these theories from the Duke's inner circle. He stared at me like I was a monster. How? How did you figure that out? It's simple math, I said. Grandfather is a legend. Father has a 1,000,000-man army. If you were the king, could you sleep knowing we control the entire nation's military? He's using Li Yi to rot us from within and keep my father shackled. It's a perfect trap. And my family is walking right into the center of it. Hien looked broken, his hope vanishing. Are we just doomed then, young master? Go back to my uncle, I said. Tell him to keep playing his little role. Tell him I'm coming to the party, and tell him not to worry about me. I'm not interested in their politics, but if they touch my life, I'll end them. I walked away without looking back, leaving him alone in the cold, dark alley. Li Yi's playing a dangerous game. If he's that bored of being king, I'm happy to help him retire. I walked off, leaving Li Xian gaping like a fish at the palace gates as the elites arrived. These state dinners are basically high-stakes shark tanks. Everyone's there to buy favors or bury their enemies. Han Bai and Chen Zhou intercepted me. Where the hell have you been, Yun? Han barked, slapping my back. Chen's face went pale as he clutched his swollen hand. What are you made of? Touching you nearly broke me. Han laughed at his friend's misery. I just pulled out 2 shimmering gems. Swallow these, I said. These will break your limits. Consider it a fast track to becoming a real warrior, I told them. Chen gaped. No way. I've barely opened my 4th channel. Han peered closer at the pills, totally skeptical. Is this a prank? Spirit pills are supposed to be dull gray. These look like literal diamonds. Eat them or don't, I snapped. The Grandmaster himself brewed these. They didn't need a second invitation. Then Meng Wu appeared, looking stunning in crimson and white, a far cry from her usual tavern disguise. Beside her, her brother waved. My 2 friends just stood there with their mouths hanging wide open. She looks familiar, Chen whispered. Han's eyes nearly popped. Wait, that's the girl from the pub. He leaned in, grinning. Keeping the best for yourself, Yun? How's your stamina holding up these days? Chen joined in. Who knew that plain Jane cleaned up like a goddess? You've got a sharp eye. A real diamond in the rough, Han added. Meng Wu blushed and looked away, clearly flustered by them. I put an arm around her. Let's get this straight. This is Meng Wu, and my new apprentice, her brother. Meng Bai bowed respectfully. The guys were floored. Wait, you're actually taking on a student now? Han scoffed. You're really taking on kids just to get close to the sister? That's low, Yun. Meng Bai snapped at me. Wait, you only took me on because of her? He got a smack for that. We moved into the inner sanctum. This was the VIP lounge where the real power players were gathered. Li Yi was already there, acting like he owned the place, until he spotted us walking in. My uncle, Li Baifeng, sat beside him. He still saw me as the family's biggest, most useless disappointment. He couldn't reconcile the failure he knew with the man who was currently commanding the entire room. Across from us sat the head of civil service, Lam Huang, and the legendary General Xiao Qingwang. The general watched me closely, remembering how I'd saved the princess with a few silver needles. The princes were also watching. They knew tonight wasn't just a party, it was going to be my show. "Sit down," Li Yi commanded. "Family belongs together, even the ones who usually hide in the shadows." The room went cold. I turned to Meng Wu. "Ever wonder why our nostrils face down, Meng?" She looked confused. "Why?" I pointed at Li Yi, who was practically vibrating with unearned arrogance. "Because if they faced up, a little rain would drown a man this full of himself," I joked. Li Yi spat out his wine in a spray. The room erupted. The insult was absolutely surgical. The lambs struggled to keep straight faces, but the general just roared. "This kid is something else!" Li Yi slammed his cup down, screaming my name. His guard lunged at me, barking about respect. The man moved like a blur, hand outstretched to crush me for disrespecting the clan's supreme leader. I stood up, tossed my water aside, and backhanded him so hard the sound echoed like a gunshot. I drove an elbow into his gut, shredding his shirt and sending him flying across the marble floor. He landed broken and wheezing at my feet. I caught my falling glass without even looking at him. The room went silent. Li Yi was shaking, his face turning a shade of purple I'd never seen. I kicked the guard toward Li Yi's table. "I remember when you were just a useful servant," I sneered. "Watch your dogs, brother. Or better yet, watch your own neck. You're looking a little fragile lately. Servants should know their place, or they end up as dog food," I added, leaning in close. "Not tonight," I told the room. "I'd hate to ruin the royal carpets." Li Yi finally snapped. He drew his blade and lunged. I didn't even blink. Before he could reach me, I had vanished. The general's hand flicked out, sending Li Yi spinning back. "That's enough," the old man boomed. The king signaled for the feast to begin. "Commander Xiao is right," General Yang barked, his finger accusing me. "Clear a spot for young Master Li," a servant whispered. I ignored the stares, coolly pouring another drink. Li Yi's face burned. He slammed the table, pointing a shaking finger at me. "Brace yourself, Yun Xiao. A storm is coming for you." Beside him, Bai Feng watched. "Barking dogs don't bite," I muttered, sipping. Prince Xiaoqing looked at me, his mind racing. My previous movements, they were too perfect. He'd seen my strike fluid as water, effortless, and lethal. My martial intent flowed without restraint, defying every rule he ever knew. No mere soldier could possess such mastery. It was a depth of power even he could not begin to fathom or explain. Then, the room went silent. The king had arrived. We all stood together, bowing our heads in a display of rehearsed humility. "Long live the king!" the chorus echoed. Emperor Qinzheng of the Tianshui kingdom gestured for us to rise. At his side stood Princesses Ru Shui and Yun Shang. Their eyes swept the hall, landing on me as the only one who had not bowed properly. I just raised my glass. "Tonight we celebrate," the king announced. "First, Commander Yun Shang has achieved alchemist status, a true genius. And second, my daughter Ru Shui is finally cured of her lifelong affliction." The room erupted in cheers for the royal family. "I am overjoyed," he smiled. Prime Minister Lan Huang stepped forward. "A blessing from the heavens, Your Majesty. Your line is favored. I congratulate the commander and the princess. To mark this occasion, I have prepared a humble tribute for this great day." His servants opened a box, spilling brilliant white light across the hall. 2 moon pearls from the East Sea sat inside. "Rarities that took years to find," he claimed. Then it was Prince Xiao's turn to present his gifts to the ladies. "The minister is generous," Xiao chuckled. "Those must be worth 100,000 gold pieces. I cannot match that vast wealth. Instead, I offer 2 scrolls, the Solar Axe Technique and the Pure Heart Scripture for their personal growth and protection." "The Solar Axe?" Yunsheng whispered, stunned. "The legendary technique of the Six-Path Master from over 100 years ago?" "Thank you, Commander," they both said, bowing deeply to the old warrior. Then Liang Wanwu stepped up with his offering. "A second-grade youth elixir. It guarantees 20 years of frozen beauty," he boasted, holding up the small, glowing, medicinal vial. Finally, Li Yi moved forward, eyes fixed on the commander. "Such elegance deserves only the finest treasures in the land. I commissioned the kingdom's greatest master to carve this hairpin from pure heart jade," he said, presenting the ornate accessory. "Pure heart jade?" Liang gasped. "The legendary stone that wards off internal demons during cultivation and focuses the mind?" "It focuses the mind and shields the soul," Li Yi boasted. "A treasure I secured specifically for the beautiful commander. Only she is worthy of such a gem," he added smoothly. Yunshang thanked him politely, though her eyes remained distant. Then he turned to Princess Ru Shui. "Your beauty is legendary, princess. I have long admired your grace and spirit." I struggled to find anything in this world truly worthy of your presence or your high royal status. Murmurs broke out. The guy was practically proposing in public. Ru Shui looked visibly uncomfortable, her face growing pale. She looked like she wanted to disappear. Then, Li Yi pulled a glowing object from his robe with a flourish. I sent men to the Fire Crow Empire to fetch this a spirit beast egg. A gift for you, princess. I hope you love it. The room gasped. A spirit beast? These creatures were the apex predators of the entire Tianwu continent, feared by everyone. Even the strongest warriors gave them a wide berth. Many had tried to tame them as loyal guardians for their personal armies. Most failed. Their feral energy was too volatile, and their instincts were too savage for any human to ever control. But there was a trick, a brilliant, expensive way to ensure total loyalty from the moment the creature is born. You bond with the egg daily. When it hatches, you are the first thing it sees, the only thing it loves. A raised beast is a shadow that never leaves your side. Because of this, the market for eggs had skyrocketed lately. Kids today, Prince Xiao sighed, shaking his head. Buying love with a fortune. That is one hell of a price tag. Ru Shui took the egg with a forced smile. Thank you, Li Yi. But then, my voice cut through the silence. Nice rock, I drawled. It is a real egg, sure, but what is the point of a dead one? Plan on grilling it? Because the inside is completely rotten. It is literal garbage and cannot be eaten or hatched. You bastard, Li Yi screamed. Do you have any idea what this cost? It is worth 1,000 of you. Price does not change the fact that it is a dud, I shrugged. The king leaned in. How can you be sure? He will just keep lying, I said. Crack it open. See for yourself. Li Yi went ballistic, face turning purple. Crack it! If it breaks, you could never pay me back. I looked at Ru Shui. Princess, wait a few months. When it never hatches and starts to smell like a corpse, you will know I was right. Li Yi looked ready to kill. The king warned me to keep my mouth shut without hard proof, citing the princess's life as my only saving grace. He dropped the charges but demanded silence. I just waved him off, my mind already on those monster eggs. Their color and energy were dead giveaways, but they're so rare that no one here could even recognize them. Prince Yang offered 10 dragon pearls to the princess, wishing her a husband as perfect as her face. He then bribed the commander with 10 top-tier stones, pushing him to become the nation's third great general. Wanwu stared. Those pearls were worth a fortune, tens of thousands of gold coins each, easily. Dropping 10 pearls plus 10 elite stones, the sheer wealth in that room was suffocating everyone. High-level warriors crave these stones. Their raw power makes that beast egg look like a cheap toy. Even Yun Chang looked stunned by the sudden display of riches. The prince figured the girl was too noble for simple pearls, but for Yun Chang, they were perfect bait. She wasn't just a pretty face. She was a national guardian, a force of nature. Reaching that rank at her age, she was a walking legend with a bottomless future. The prince knew she was his ticket to the throne, his ultimate political leverage. Beyond power, he wanted her. He'd been obsessed with her beauty for years. He'd been ghosted before, but he bet everything on this one grand gesture. She tried to keep it professional, turning down the heavy gift with a cold, polite bow. He lost it. He lunged forward, dropped to one knee, and begged her to marry him. She didn't even touch him, just used her sheer presence to force him back to his feet. Don't make me embarrass you, she hissed. He couldn't believe he was being rejected again. He screamed that if he wasn't good enough, then no man in this kingdom was. She just turned her back on him, calling him a fool. He was losing his mind. Is there another man? He roared. Tell me his name so I can kill him. The whole room went silent. Even the king leaned in, waiting for a name. Everyone was dying to know who had captured the heart of the kingdom's coldest goddess. I even set my drink down. I had to hear this. Then she spoke. She told us about a mountain of snow and a childhood spent in total isolation. Everything changed when her mentor returned from a journey, acting like a complete stranger. The woman who was once kind became a ghost, bitter, distracted, and drowning in regret. The pressure became unbearable. Her mentor would snap at the slightest mistake, consumed by fury. She'd hear her teacher whispering one specific name through gritted teeth every single night. As a kid, she promised to find that man and break him for making her teacher cry. That name was Gu Fei Yang, the ultimate master whose skills were unparalleled across the entire globe. His creations were more than medicine. They were the very laws of the universe made flesh. Behind the scenes, the elite sovereigns were gathering, acting on a divine order no one dared defy. The most beautiful woman in the world stood before them, holding the keys to ultimate power. She offered 10 legendary pills, the kind that could make a god even stronger. One of the sovereigns admitted he needed that power to break through his own limits. The price was simple. Help them take down the legendary Gu Fei Yang. The lords agreed. For 10 pills, they'd do anything, the lady asked. Some thought 10 pills was overkill just to kill one man. They were arrogant. But the others knew better. Gu Feiyang wasn't just a man, he was third on the global rankings. His power wasn't something you could just handle with a few extra soldiers. One warrior claimed he'd just mastered a new technique and wanted to test his luck. The others laughed, telling him he could take the lead when the target arrived. He promised to try, but he knew he'd need every bit of help he could get. "What secret hell did you master to think you can survive Gu Feiyang?" she asked. He just smiled. "Ever heard of the infinite void palm?" The room went cold. Everyone froze at that name. The lost art of the Void Sovereign from 5,000 years ago? Exactly. The ultimate divine strike. Even the strongest legends would be erased by this. He doesn't stand a single prayer against me. My fear vanished as I laughed. My own spear was a legendary artifact of pure slaughter. My reincarnation spear, combined with the 100 battle style, can butcher gods and devils alike. The Duke added, 10 martial emperors and the matriarch. We are an unstoppable force of nature. Not even the top 3 ranked monsters could walk away from this ambush alive, he bragged. I worried the prey had smelled the trap. What if he's too cowardly to show up? Then we just drink and enjoy the mountain view, he replied. His reputation will be dead anyway. This palace was a forbidden paradise. No outsider had ever stepped foot here and lived. Perched on a frozen peak, it felt like a dream. 10 masters waiting for one man. He's hiding, someone sneered, swirling their wine. The great emperor is nothing but a ghost. Rank 3? I mocked. He's just a lucky fraud who hasn't met real power yet. Nobody is insane enough to face 10 emperors at once. It's not a fight, it's a funeral. Could he bring reinforcements? Someone asked. What if 10 more monsters show up to help him? Let them. 10 against 10. We still win. I'll take his head personally, he declared. Then she spoke, her voice like ice. He doesn't need help. He never has. How can you be so sure? I asked. Because, she whispered, he's already standing behind you. I spun around, heart hammering. Where? I don't see anything but the mist. You're dreaming. I'm not guessing, she said, eyes wide. Can't you feel the world starting to scream? Just a mountain breeze, I told myself. Then the wind turned into a roar of thunder. The roof vanished. A hand made of storm clouds reached down to crush our very souls, the palm of the world's end. It moved with the weight of a falling star. Give it everything, she shrieked. If you hold back now, we all die in the dirt. Die, I screamed, unleashing the void palm. My spear hummed with a desperate, killing light. 10 ultimate laws of destruction collided. Long seals, Buddha hands, and frozen hells erupted at once. We threw our entire lives into that one strike, a symphony of violence against the sky. Our combined might was nothing. It was swallowed whole by that giant, indifferent cloud of death. The explosion threw us like rag dolls. We were broken, bleeding, and suddenly very, very small. A golden light pierced the dark. She looked up, her eyes filled with a terrifying devotion. She looked like a child in love. He's still the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. The clouds formed a staircase to heaven. A man stepped down as if walking on water. It was him, Gu Feiyang. He walked past our shattered bodies without even looking down. Why did you force this? He asked. She wept, her heart breaking for the 1,000th time. Let me dance for you one last time, she begged. He sighed. You lost the moment you cared. I lost long ago, she whispered, wiping tears before drawing her blade for a final suicide. You can't kill me, he said calmly. These 10 insects couldn't even scratch my shadow. They were just a distraction, she spat. Bait to waste a fraction of your divine strength. But they were useless. They didn't even make you sweat. She launched herself into the sky. She didn't strike him. She fired a flare. The Hidden Sisters began the final, forbidden ritual. The starry void array ignited, locking the universe in place. She really wanted him dead. The mountain curse? He asked, looking up. You'd destroy your own home just to kill me? I'll bury us both, she cried, raising the purple sky sword to summon the end of days. That traitorous girl, Hong Yan. She's using this battle and the purple sky sword to end Gu Feiyang right here and now. Pure energy rained down in a relentless barrage as I dodged Hong Yan's fury, shouting, Purple Star Array! I can channel the celestial power of this divine lightning blade, seizing the mountain's very soul. Atop these snowy peaks, under the ancient stars, I am God. Feiyang, your skills won't save you today. You're finished. I gathered my strength, summoned my steel, and whispered, Old friend, it's all on you. Activating the formation, I declared, against 1 billion stars, my blade shall carve its own path through heaven. Hong Yan's voice drifted like a ghost. In the cold night, don't seek the living, seek the divine. Watching from the shadows, Van Thuong trembled. She prayed for him to hold on, her heart racing with fear. She was mesmerized by that peerless man. My memory of that day ends there, she recounted softly. I woke up to a silent palace. My sisters were gone, leaving me only with my elders. Snow Mountain was a ghost town. I had no choice but to leave and wander the continent alone. I just wanted to see those eyes once more. That's when I realized my master had actually lost. Gu Fei Yang, the vanquisher, had crushed 10 martial emperors alone, shattering the world's balance of power. The entire continent was in an uproar. His name was everywhere, until the news of his death broke. They said he died at Tianneng. I refused to believe it. Who could possibly kill a god? Later, I stayed at the academy in the Water Kingdom just to be near his famous statue. Back in the present, Van Thuong sighed, her eyes heavy with sorrow as she glanced at Li Vantu. She looked at the boy and froze. His gaze was a mirror image of the great emperor himself. With a heavy sigh, she turned away. Too bad you aren't him. Vantu just stared, completely confused. Tao Duong asked desperately, "Who is he? Am I not even worthy of being in his shadow?" "He's dead," she replied. Tao Duong felt a spark of hope. Then I have a chance. What did he do? If he did it, I can too. Van Thuong looked at him coldly. You really think so? Listen well. At the Sea of Divinity, he forged the legendary Star Slayer, a rank 10 masterpiece. He became the youngest grade 9 alchemist in history and an honorary leader of the Alchemist Guild. For a woman, he leveled a superpower with a single strike, erasing them from the map. To avenge a friend, he slaughtered thousands across 8,000 miles of ocean, defying the Sea King. He dominated the rankings at the Holy Sanctuary and was crowned the vanquishing Martial Emperor. On the snowy peaks, he descended from the clouds and effortlessly defeated 10 masters. Even the world's beauty couldn't capture his heart. The room fell into a deathly, suffocating silence as she spoke. Van Thuong continued, "Now you know. If you can match even 1% of him, I'm yours." Tao Duong shook. Everyone knew that name, the legend that had vanished 15 years ago. "I'm exhausted," she said, walking away. "I'll be taking my leave." Tao Duong stood there, utterly rejected. The guests were stunned. Li Vantu stood frozen with his drink for several long, awkward seconds. Mong Vu shook him. "Vantu? You okay?" He finally snapped out of it with a weary sigh. The emperor announced the party would continue. Tao Njuet watched her brother mope back to his seat. She thought, if only he'd won her. That would have gained them a master and a legendary army. It would have been a massive power shift. She stepped forward. "Now, it's my turn to present." The feast resumed. Mong Bak whispered, "Master, who was she talking about? Was it Duong Dish?" Mong Vu shook her head. He was Duong Dish's mentor, the peerless Gu Fei Yang from the academy. "Wait, that one?" Mong Bak exclaimed. "I've seen the statue. It's cool, but not exactly a heartbreaker. If he rejected the world's most beautiful woman, the guy must have been a total moron." Mong Vu slapped him. "Watch your mouth." Vantu nearly choked on his water, coughing hard. "What do you know?" Vantu managed to say. "It's called walking through beauty and remaining untouched." Mong Bak scoffed. "Please, if he wasn't an idiot, he was definitely playing for the other team." Tran Chao laughed. "I bet. I've never seen that palace mistress, but they say she's a goddess. Who could walk away from a woman like that? Only a man who doesn't like women. Get real," I snapped, shoving Chen. "Show some respect to the legends, you idiots." "Respect?" he spat. "He is just some thug who hits harder than the rest." "Exactly," Han Bai sneered. "The world's top beauty is obsessed? He should just rot. A total death sentence," Chen agreed. I boiled with rage, crushing my glass into dust. Ruo Shui looked down at me. "Yun Xiao, what grand gift did you bring for me?" "My rivals flaunted gold," I whispered. "I came for dinner, not to buy your love." "A deadbeat," Li Yi laughed. "Scavenging a free royal meal tonight, are we?" "Scavenge?" I laughed. Ruo Shui leaned in. "Show me your gift. Right now." "Master, show them," Mong Bai urged. "Let these fools see what real class looks like." The king reminded her I saved her. She shrugged. "Gifts are still gifts." I stepped forward. "No gold here. I will play a song for your beauty instead." Li Yi slammed the table. "A song? You broke loser. Who wants to hear noise? We have royal musicians. Stop embarrassing our family with your street performer trash, kid." "8, I said coldly. "Know your place. You are not even qualified to judge me." He shook with rage, but Ruo Sui smiled. "You play? Good. I want to listen." The officials fumed. They spent millions, yet she grinned at me for absolutely nothing. A servant brought the zither. Incense filled the hall. The room went deathly silent. "Your father was a lion," the king noted. "I did not know you were a poet." I let my hair fall and struck the first chord, letting the music take over. I became the melody. Xiao froze, seeing a legendary ghost in my shadow. He was terrified. I radiated the aura of a master. It was chillingly beautiful. My fingers danced across 2 lifetimes, a melody blooming like fire in the dark. The rhythm brought peace. Everything felt alive, breathing along with the soft notes. "The Guangling melody," Ruo Shui whispered, her eyes lost in a dream of longing. Petals swirled around my strings. The entire party watched in a deep, enchanted trance. A soldier burst in. "Majesty, every flower in the garden is blooming at once." The crowd gasped. "Spring and winter?" My song had woken the gods of nature. "Stunning," Ruo Shui murmured. "I wish my teacher could hear this miracle tonight." The song ended. Xiao stood. Legend says the great Gu once played for a beauty. He played on a frozen isle, and the divine music woke the sleeping flowers. I never thought a mortal would hear this heaven-sent sound. It is a blessing. This belongs to the stars. How can we humans hear it more than once? I sighed. One dances for beauty, while another ruins nations for the dancer. The king roared with laughter. Incredible. I have never heard anything so perfect in years. My court musicians are hacks. Tell them to pack up and leave. They are fired. Everyone cheered, but Li Yi fumed. A song, "My beast egg is worth more"? Pathetic, Ruo Shui said. Xiao added, "That song was priceless, you blind fool." "Commander, please," Li Yi begged. "Make him play again. He is just a servant." "No," I said, bowing. Divine music needs the perfect soul to truly bloom. There was a beauty then, and the princess now. Nature answered their call. But a brainless thug like you would not understand a word of that. Number 8. "Go back to school," I added. Li Yi's face turned a violent shade of purple. Ruo Shui blushed, loving the flattery. I had won the room with a single string. Li Yi coughed. "I have a gift for the commander, too. Something truly legendary." "Actually," he sneered, "I have prepared a little something special for Commander Xiao tonight." General Xiao shook his head, refusing to take what he had not earned. But Li Yi persisted, claiming he had heard rumors. Years ago, a brutal duel against the Battle Kingdom's king left the general with internal rot that never truly healed. His power was trapped, stagnant. By sheer luck, Li Yi claimed he had found an aqua dragon purity pill to gift him. The general gasped. "A rank 6 miracle?" Li Yi smirked, signaling his master alchemist, Fang Zhen, to present the treasure. Fang Zhen, a top-tier expert, stepped forward. He urged the general to take the medicine and reclaim his lost glory. He promised this single pill would purge the darkness from the general's veins, finally ending his long years of agony. One dose and his martial path would reopen. The general gripped the vial, remembering the war that cost him everything. Though he had won that day, the price was his health. For years, his strength had withered instead of growing stronger. Low-grade cures failed. Now, the damage was eating his very lifespan. He was a dying lion, waiting for the end. If he died, the kingdom's shield would shatter. The emperor watched, knowing their national power hung by a single thread. Without Xiao, only one guardian remained. For years, the crown's search for a cure had turned up absolutely nothing. Then Li Yi appeared with an impossible miracle. The emperor looked at him with newfound respect, seeing a savior today. "Your merit is unmatched, Li Yi. Name your reward." "I will grant you anything you desire," the king declared solemnly. "I seek only one thing, Majesty. I wish to marry Princess Ru Shui," Li Yi replied, bowing with hungry eyes. "You filthy servant! A toad dreaming of swan meat?" Ru Shui screamed, turning to her father in absolute pure disgust. "Father, don't agree to this." Li Yi knew his low birth was a cage. He held power, but lacked true status. Enemies were everywhere. To survive, he needed the royal name. This marriage was his ultimate play for total survival. Becoming the prince consort would change his fate forever. Besides, Ru Shui's beauty was a prize he truly craved today. "Father, you wouldn't!" But Li Yi cut her off, swearing his love was real. He begged the king for mercy. The king sighed. "It is not your choice, Ru Shui. Li Yi's service is too great. I can trust him. He risked his life to find that rare beast egg for you. Such devotion is hard to find," he added. "A daughter is precious, but the kingdom is eternal." He needed Li Yi to keep the northern clans under control. Ru Shui froze. Her father was trading her away like silk. The betrayal felt like a dagger to her heart. In a rage, she grabbed the gifted egg and smashed it. "I don't want your garbage!" she screamed as it broke. A vile, sulfurous stench filled the air. Everyone gagged. The rare gift was nothing but a rotten, stinking black mess. "See? He brings me rot and calls it love," Ru Shui sobbed, pointing at the foul sludge spreading on the floor. The king frowned. Rare items are hard to judge. Li Yi was likely cheated by a merchant. It wasn't intentional. Li Yi nodded frantically, playing the fool. "Yes, Majesty, I was scammed. I will kill the man who sold it." The king dismissed it. "The pill is what matters. For your loyalty, I hereby decree that Ru Shui shall be yours." The princess collapsed. Then, my voice cut through the room. "Wait, that aqua dragon pill is a total fraud too." I stepped out from the shadows. "That pill is a lie." Silence fell. Li Yi began to shake with fear. Accusing someone of fraud before the king is treason. To lie about a hero's cure? That is a death sentence. Who would dare trick General Xiao? Rusue looked up, a spark of desperate hope finally lighting her teary eyes. It is a fake! Execute him! She cried. Li Yi turned on me, snarling. I paid a fortune for this. Majesty, he is talking nonsense. Kill him now! Li Yi shrieked, his face twisting into a mask of pure terror. I just pointed at the rotten egg. The king grew cold and ordered Master Liang to examine the blue pill. It looks real, Majesty, Liang whispered. But its rank is too high. I cannot say for certain if it is true. General Xiao looked at me. Prove it, boy. I walked forward, my eyes fixed on the deceptive glowing sphere. The pill has no poison alone. But if it touches a drop of blood, it becomes a lethal, soul-shredding venom. One swallow and the general dies instantly, I warned. The king slammed the table. What? Li Yi stammered in fear. He is lying! The general will be cured! Li Yi's voice cracked like glass. He was a trapped rat now. If I am wrong, take my head. But if he dies, who will pay for his life? I asked, staring him down. How do we test such a treasure? Li Yi blustered. My life is worth more than your petty, jealous insults. It is simple. A tiny scrape of powder mixed with blood. Feed it to a dog. Let it decide. If the animal dies within 10 breaths, you are a traitor. If it lives, I will go to the gallows. I propose we slaughter the beast to extract the essence while there is still time. I lied through my teeth. The emperor considered this, nodding slowly. A ruthless but effective plan. Guards, bring the creature forward. One of you is a bold-faced liar, the sovereign growled, his gaze sweeping over us like a guillotine. I intend to find out who possesses the suicidal stupidity to deceive the throne. I glanced sideways with a bored expression. Number 8, step up and offer some of your filthy blood. Li Yi's face flushed a violent crimson. Why the hell should I use mine? This was your twisted idea. Because you are the one on trial here, I countered coldly. I muttered 8527 under my breath. Li Yi roared in a blind rage. You absolute piece of trash. What did you just call me? I smirked at his outburst. I was simply calling for my new low-ranked servant. That is his designation. Right on cue, Mengbai hurried into the hall. I am here, master. What do you need? I gestured casually toward the fuming Li Yi. Number 8, meet your superior. Mengbai didn't miss a beat, bowing deeply. It is an honor to meet such a distinguished elder. Li Yi was physically shaking, his legs turning to jelly as he sputtered incoherent rage. Bai Feng had to catch his arm to keep him from collapsing, while the court erupted in laughter. The onlookers whispered among themselves, sensing that the Li family's internal war had finally reached a boiling point. I pointed toward the golden pill. Number 8, drip your life onto the medicine. Mengbai froze, his eyes wide with confusion. Wait, why do you need my blood for this? Despite his hesitation, he sliced his palm, letting the crimson liquid coat the sphere. Is that enough? I am practically bleeding out here, the boy complained. I gave him a sharp clip over the ear. It is barely a drop, you brat. Do it properly this time. Once finished, I shoved him aside and addressed the emperor. This medicine turns lethal the moment it touches blood. Even a single drop is enough to drop a king-rank warrior stone dead. I watched the reaction with a hidden smile. Mengbai carried the heavenly poison body. His blood was the ultimate catalyst. Not even a 9th-rank alchemist from my past life could survive this trap. Li Yi was walking straight into his own grave. By using the boy's blood, I had ensured the origin of the poison would be linked directly to the pill he tried to gift. This primordial venom was the root of all corruption. The only way to survive its touch was to physically purge the energy before it reached the heart, a feat impossible for anyone here. The soldiers dragged the hound into the center of the room. As I reached for the pill, Li Yi blocked my hand. Not so fast. Stay back and let the royal guard handle the demonstration. He signaled a sentinel to take the lead. The guard stepped forward, prying the dog's mouth open and forcing the medicine down its throat in one swift motion. Li Yi leaned in close, his eyes darting back and forth as he checked for any reaction. The guard stood back and bowed. Your Majesty, the animal seems perfectly fine. There is no issue. A look of pure triumph washed over Li Yi's face. The emperor's expression turned deathly pale, his heart sinking as he realized he might have to execute me to maintain the law. The sovereign's mind raced, thinking of his daughter's future. He knew he had to find a way to spare my life, even if I had just failed this deadly gamble in front of everyone. You pathetic little rat, Li Yi sneered, his voice dripping with venom. You dared to deceive the crown. Today I am going to enjoy watching you die. Ha ha ha! His laughter was cut short by a sickening thud. He spun around to find the dog already stiff, its skin turning a bruised purple as it rolled over, dead before it hit the floor. Where did this cursed beast come from? Li Yi stammered, his bravado vanishing instantly. The emperor stood up, his voice cold as ice. I believe it is your turn to explain. It is a trick. Li Yi screamed, pointing a trembling finger at me. You hid the real dog. You swapped them when no one was looking. Bring the other one out this instant. Throw this carcass away. Bai Feng watched the scene in silent horror. Li Yi had tried to frame me with a poisoned gift, but the plan had backfired so spectacularly it would ruin our family's reputation forever. The emperor didn't wait for another excuse. He raised his hand, signaling the end of the debate. The evidence is clear. This charade ends now. Seize Li Yi and Fang Zhen. Throw them into the deepest pits of the Black Prison, he roared. Internally, he cursed his luck. His favorite puppet had just committed a capital crime. If he spared the boy, he would lose his leverage over the general, but if he executed him, he would lose his best chance at controlling the Li family's vast influence. As the guards dragged him away, Li Yi's frantic screams echoed through the stone halls. He cheated! He hid the healthy dog! You have to kill his whole family! This is a setup! The gathered officials watched with cold indifference. Scheming against a high commander was a one-way trip to the executioner's block, and Li Yi was just a fool who got caught. Even without an immediate death sentence, everyone knew the emperor had other plans for him. The political landscape of the kingdom had just shifted under our feet. General Xiao stood up abruptly, clutching his side as a grimace crossed his face. Your Majesty, my old war wounds are acting up again. I must beg your leave to depart. Take care of yourself, Commander, the emperor replied with genuine concern. I will have 100 prime resource pills delivered to your manor by nightfall. The general gave a stiff nod and prepared to leave. Hold on a moment, I called out, stopping him in his tracks. I might be able to help with that internal damage. The emperor's eyes lit up with hope. It is true. He mastered the acupuncture techniques that cured the princess when every other doctor in the city had failed. Reluctantly, the general sat back down as the court fell into a hushed silence. Everyone watched as I reached out to take the pulse of the nation's greatest warrior. I focused my divine sense, feeling the jagged energy tearing through his veins. Well, little brat, the general grunted, his voice full of skepticism. What do you see? A brat, am I? I whispered with a smirk. He laughed harshly. Even your grandfather is a mere child compared to me. What else would you be? I ignored the jab and went straight for the truth. 3 times a day, your arm bones and wrists feel like they are being chewed on by fire ants. Is that right? The color drained from his face as he stared at me. I didn't stop. At high noon, your primary pressure points freeze over, leaving you paralyzed with a bone-deep chill. He tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come. A year ago, you started losing your cultivation energy during the early morning hours, didn't you? It was subtle at first. Now, that weakness lasts until the sun is high in the sky, and every time you try to circulate your power, it feels like lightning striking your heart. Am I wrong? The general sat frozen in his chair, his arrogance completely replaced by a look of sheer terror. I pulled my hand away, knowing I finally had his full attention. Tell me, do you lose your energy flow every morning between 3 and 5? And does it now last until 9? Exactly. And do your meridians feel like an electric current is surging through them when you circulate your power? Yes, precisely. I thought so, Yun Xiao muttered. The king was stunned. Kid, you're terrifyingly sharp. How did you know? You nailed it. There's a cure, right? I stayed silent, focused on my chicken leg. Talk, kid. Why are you eating? He barked. I swallowed. You think a kid has some miracle? I was just guessing. Forget I ever opened my mouth. The room went silent. I finished my snack and took a slow drink. He stared. No one dared treat him like this. I call your grandfather an old ghost, he growled. Your father is a brat to me. So what are you? A tiny brat? I set my glass down. Call me young master, I said. My friends turned pale. I was playing with fire. The crowd panicked. Demanding a commander call me master? I'd lost my mind. I was a dead man. Do you know who you're talking to? He hissed. Nobody acts superior to me. I took another bite. Suit yourself. I'm not forcing you, but if you're done talking, there's enough meat here to keep your mouth shut. The emperor gasped. The audacity. Qing stood up, radiating pure, demonic rage. I stayed cool, sipping water. His fists clenched. His ego was bleeding out. Quite the ego, Commander, I said. People whispered that I had a death wish. My kin rushed in. Commander, please, he's young. Forgive him for his family's sake. Suddenly, Qing roared with laughter and slammed my back, nearly making me choke. The old ghost's grandson has balls. I love it. He grabbed a chicken leg, grinning. Why is my son so boring? Fine, young master it is. I'll call you that. Everyone was stunned. Since when was the Iron Commander this chill? He leaned in. So, young master, about my illness, can you really save me? I stayed silent. Don't push it. I'm being nice. I glared back. My bones still ached from his hit. Nice? You tried to break me, he chuckled. Fine. What'll it take to remember? I raised my glass. A drink first. Let's get wasted. We'll talk business later. Deal. Today we drink until we drop. He laughed and hammered my back again. Was I a genius or a clown? Either way, the room finally respected me. The family has a future, someone noted. I see why I lost now, another sighed. The party ended. Everyone left. Shui ran up to me, blushing hard. Thanks. It was nothing, I said. She huffed, face turning crimson, and ran away. Commander, wait, I called. Once I have the cure, I'll find you. I'll be waiting. Don't forget. He left, clearly intrigued by my games. My friends swarmed me. Man, you actually tamed the beast. We're so proud. But how'd you know that pill was lethal? My student asked. You just knew? I shrugged. If it were the real deal, it wouldn't be toxic. Basic logic. They were floored. What? I started walking. Not here. Let's move and talk. I explained the poison secret to them. You're insane, my friend whispered. Pulling that off in public? One slip and we'd all be executed. My student realized I'd used him again. They finally saw they were my inner circle. A guard stopped us. Master Li, my lord wants a private word with you. I waved him off. Sun's down. I'm beat. Some other time, a voice echoed. The night's young. When kindred spirits meet, drinks are required. A curtain opened. Am I worthy of being your friend? The prince asked. I just sighed. Even for a friend, I'm not interested in being alone with men. Sorry. The prince laughed, revealing the carriage's interior. That's easily fixed, isn't it? I have my girls here, every one a beauty. They'll dance while we drink. My handmaidens are beauties. They'll pour the wine and dance while we drink. Wouldn't that be a kingly way to spend the evening? Fine, I said, eyes flashing. If it is that important, it is worth the ride. I stepped inside. Beauties served wine as the prince spoke. The rumors lie, he said. You have more guts than they say. You flatter me, I replied. But look at your brow. That royal aura. You were born to lead. Yue froze. He did not expect me to be so blunt. Commander Bai said I would meet a savior. He told me my path would finally clear tonight. Honestly, at first, I did not believe a word. Are you that man, Yunxiao? I looked at him. The third squad's leader, Bai Mu, is a ghost. A prophet who reads the stars. Is it real or just a show? I wondered about his ancient arts. I knew the stars too. In my past life, I met masters who could truly see through time. Yue clapped, and a figure emerged from the smoke. It is very real, the prince said, smiling. A pleasure, young master, the commander said. A woman? A female commander? You are well guarded. But count me out, I added. I have no interest in your bloody coups or crown secrets. Yue was stunned. The maids shook with fear. Such treasonous talk usually meant a short life. You are bolder than they say, she whispered, and sharper. The prince will soon rule this land. Helping him secures your family's future. Unless you have not heard about the Li family's crisis, I did not care for their drama, but this body is theirs. Their blood flows in my veins. They raised me. Besides, once I regain my peak power, a tiny kingdom like this is nothing. I could build empires if I wanted, but if I die now, I protect no one. I need a shield. I need a safe harbor while I climb back to the top. Protecting them is the least I can do. Fine, I said. I want your word. As long as you breathe, the Li family stays safe and rich. I swear it, Yue replied. As long as I live, and as long as they do not betray me, the Li family will thrive. They earned it. It is a shame my father is so cold. Fickle? I cut in. Betraying allies is what kings do. Now, tell me what you need from me. Commander Xiao's wound, Bai Mu said. How sure are you that you can actually heal him? Yue knew there was no cure. Every enemy's plan relied on that man